Welcome to Shardcast, the Brandon Sanderson podcast. We're a bunch of mega fans giving you the news discussion and, of course, a whole lot of opinions about Brandon's works and the Cosmere. I'm Eric, and joining me is David.
Hello, I am Windrunner, and I thought I would definitely not be second. And I am here, timely as always, ready to talk about WoBs and ready to lock in Argent.
Also joining us is Evgeni.
Hi, I'm Argent. I thought I was going to be second.
No.
And that didn't happen.
No.
I was also on time. I was, in fact, earlier than on time. And I'm also here ready to lock in.
All right. Also joining us is Grace.
Hello, I am Gatorgirl. I am here ready to lock in up until the point when Evgeni says something factually wrong and I will have to correct him, at which point it is his fault that we're going off track, not mine.
Well, that's not going to happen, so we're fine.
That's never happened before. Yeah, you have to make sure you represent Ian here, you know? It's very important to correct Evgeni when he's just factually wrong.
I'm bullied on
and
my own
crush at
show.
WTCC.
Good sir. I guess it's not any one particular person's show. But last, and certainly not least, is Bonnie. How's it going?
Hi, I'm Cosmeregirl, and I am going to do my best to lock in, but the tinfoil hat theories call to me. They're calling my name, and I will do my best not to chase them too far. No
You
promise.
only have one earring?
I do right now.
Huh, okay.
That is interesting, actually.
Well, it's not super comfortable under the other side.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, so you're literally you're listening with one ear to show off the earring on the other ear.
Yes, sort of.
Well, it's a nice
I-
face.
That's commitment.
I got used to this. did this for
I am
years.
seeing through this. It's a hemallergic spike. She only has one.
True.
Don't tell me
true.
secrets.
That's just the excuse she's giving.
That's true.
Okay.
That's confirmed now. And I'm Cass, and we are going to talk about more WoBs as prophesied. Last time we had a lot of shard stuff, and so we didn't get through a whole lot. But I think we will be able to lock in and get through more. I'm not going to say that we can get through the rest of this document. That seems a little
Well, I mean,
ambitious.
let's not get crazy.
But you know, let's see how we go. So let's just get into it. We're locking in.
No,
We're
we're
locked.
locked in. Yeah.
We're locked in. David, why don't you start with this Emberdark question?
Thank you. I am excited to do this one. All right. This is coming from Questioner. If a child is born on the far outer Emberdark, would they have connection to this realm like a person on a planet, or would they be void of identity? Brandon, they would have a connection to how they view that outer realm of the Emberdark. So yes, it's the first.
Yeah, like there's no way they can be totally void of identity, right? Like that.
Yeah.
That's not possible.
I mean, I think the questioner also conflates connection and identity a little bit.
Oh, that is yes.
It is
Yeah.
interesting that they would be connected to the Emberdark itself. That's because like one of the defining features of the Emberdark is that it's undefined in a lot of ways. And so, you know, it's not impossible that you could like connect to it. And I think Dusk might think that he's now connected to this place in some odd way, although he's not in the Emberdark.
It's like someone being born in a spaceship, you
Yeah,
know?
exactly.
It's like,
Yeah.
That makes sense to me.
you know, you might feel connected like I am from space, but it's, you know, obviously there's a physical I don't know.
Yeah, there's a physical location. You're going to still have connections to where your parents are from through them, you know, to some degree. You're going to have your heritage that maybe makes you inclined to one magic system or have that shard in some way, you know, like it's just going to be you were born somewhere a little bit different.
Yeah, I mean, like, even if someone like lives in the Emberdark for 20 years, it's like, I mean, yes, you're connected more so to that the Emberdark than if you did not do that. Like, that's not.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, sure. If they lived, I don't know. Let's run an experiment. Let's have someone be born in the outer Emberdark and be raised by skull snakes or something. Sure. Let's see what they're like. You know.
You gotta find twins.
Oh, yes, of course. Very ethical experiments
Boys
here.
Twins were actually social
Twins.
Hoid
wife
would run
doesn't-
an experiment on his children.
My wife
I can
doesn't
see that.
remember me
She would do
because
that.
she's not actually. This was just all. She signed the
The NDA.
forgetfulness.
The NDA. For the study.
Yeah.
Well, that's dire. Let's
Off to a great start.
talk about Stormlight back half. Argent.
Nice and easy,
Hit
quick
us.
and light question. Will the prologues to Stormlight 6 to 10 reference another singular pivotal event, much like Gavilar's assassination in the Front 5?
Yes.
And Brandon says, that is what is planned. Not the same, a new event. It's part of what made me decide to divide them in two.
Yeah, I don't think we have more to go into the well of Gavilar's assassination. I think
No, see, I think that'd be great. Imagine 5 more prologues where it's just increasingly unimportant characters. Like, you know,
we just keep expanding. Secret
like what were the manservants doing?
I went to the
Shut up,
latrine
yeah, so-
near Gavilar's assassination, the party that happened, and that's the prologue of book 10. Easy.
We have like a Ghost Bloods. We have like what Kelsier was doing the night
Yeah, we
of
have the
assassination.
Kelsier POV.
Okay,
the
that would
Accent
actually be
West
pretty
POV,
sick,
the
actually.
Garrett
I'll be
POV.
honest.
We get the Stormlight or the Stormfather POV. You know, we get the
Okay.
we get the
Incredible.
Ulin
Okay.
POV.
Okay, well, now you're making me excited. So it's going to be something totally different, which is probably for the best.
I do think it's interesting that this is what part of what influenced him to split it, which makes me think like this is another like core pivotal event to his idea of what Stormlight is. Because the split's like kind of always been in the works for as long as like we've known about Stormlight, pretty much, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Like of modern Stormlight. I don't think this was necessarily the case
Yeah.
for Way of Kings Prime, right?
Yeah,
But
no,
it-
not
but
for
like,
Way of Kings,
yeah.
but like since like Way of Kings has been out, I
Yeah,
feel like
yeah,
it's
yeah.
been
I don't-
like
I don't
split, which
I don't think the series has ever existed as, oh, this is just going to be a single series of 10 books, right? I
Yeah.
think it's always been talked about as 2 5s.
Yeah.
This would be fun
maybe-
with the honor blades, because that already is kind of part of the prologue.
Well, that's more prelude, right?
Yeah,
the prelude.
Yeah.
but going back to that scene, that could be something.
Do we get a new prelude?
We
That's
might get a
another
new
question, 'cause
prelude. Like we
we
got
got a postlude.
I
you
think
know,
we easily could have a prelude. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I expect so. I was trying to think whether we can tie this into Yasna in some way. Like I was thinking about what she has talked about her past. Like we know so little about her quote unquote lunacy that I don't know if it's like I don't even know if we are like I'm trying to find a way for it to be, oh, this is not like a child with some condition. This is she saw some stuff.
Sure. That are plot relevant somehow, for sure.
Yeah.
That just feels like Yasna flashbacks to me.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if maybe there's a parallel with like one of the what are the singers like Encased in Stone called? I'm blanking on their name.
The
As a
9.
group.
The 9.
Yeah, like the 9. Maybe there's a parallel with like something happens with Gavilar, King of Alethkar, and then something happens with the 9, which are like the current rulers.
That's actually
they're
kind
not
of
that
interesting.
interesting.
That could be interesting.
They're and like I feel like they got assumed by L a little bit. Like, does anyone care about the 9 anymore? Like, they were very cool when they were introduced, but then they didn't really ultimately do very
Well,
much.
they didn't do anything.
Yeah, I don't know. It
Wow.
doesn't
They were
have to
there
be
to
that, but
justify
like,
Rabonio.
you know, but maybe there's a parallel with like something happens with the singer leadership. That sort of parallels something happening with Gavilar.
It's hard to envision something that, you know, because Gavilar's assassination was so important that it was one of almost the singular questions of the books. Like, we return to it so often, you know,
And it
there
kicked
were
off
so many different
much, right? It kicked off.
yeah,
the
there's so many
Vengeance Pact
layers
and-
to it, and so it's hard. Like I'm excited to see what he thinks it'll be, because it's hard to imagine something. It's kind of what like a big part of the story was built around. So like, what is this inciting incident going to be that we're going to be able to return to 5 times over the course of 5,000 pages, and are going to be constantly exploring as the book goes on to kind of fully understand why it happened and what the implications were, or he'll do something different.
And
But-
it probably kicks off that second.
Yeah.
arc.
L kills Adolin.
Well, not based on some other WoBs that we're going to
That's
talk
right.
about.
I always remember when we tried to do Rhythm of War predictions and we're trying to like figure out what the plot is, and then we're just so off, like hilariously off. And
That may have been the most off we ever were, I think.
well, we did get hey, look, I remember we predicted that there would be a Kalden Zeth going into a Lethkar plotline, and we did eventually get that just going to Shinovar. So, like, we're picking up on things, just, not in the way that Brandon's putting it together. But something like the prologue for the back half is so connected to like a 1-2 paragraph summary of what these books are going to be. And we just have no idea what like the plot of those books are going to be, right? Like we have a bunch of things, right? But like, what's the premise, right? That like, it's really hard to even fathom what a prologue event could be, right? Like I could see something, but like it couldn't be like something heraldy like way in the past. But I do think we could have a prelude that's like on Ashen. Like that could be cool.
Would be really cool.
That feels
that would be
material.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like we could have a prelude in Ashen. I don't think that could be the prologues. Yeah.
Prologues would be kind of cool though.
I think because back half is supposed to be so Herald focused, or more so Herald focused, I could really see the prologue being something centered around the Heralds.
Yeah.
And starting with some kind of like core mystery or core event that has to be picked apart to figure out what actually happened.
Yeah, but like Gavilar's assassination isn't like strictly about the Radiants, right? Like they're relevant, but like it's about more than just that. So, but it could the prologues could easily be heraldy stuff, right? For sure.
I think ultimately we just cannot speculate.
No,
or rather, we can speculate to our heart's extent, but like there's no foundation to any of that.
It's throwing darts on a dartboard.
Cool. Yeah.
I could see the destruction of Ashen, actually. That would be interesting.
Whose fault was it? Did Ishar? Is it Ishar's fault?
I think like
that'd be cool.
I think the destruction of the Ashen would be a cool prelude, like the breaking of the Oath Pact being paralleled by like the breaking of a world. I don't know.
Something
but
like
I don't know
that.
how much this stuff is actually going to like parallel. But that's like the only foundation I can even think of to like start guessing what this could be. So
yeah, it does make me wonder how many like parallels there's going to be, because in some sense, like you don't necessarily want to tread the same ground, but with a different thing. That's like, because then it's like, oh, it's a sequel where we're doing it bigger and better, where it's the same beats but worse, right? But you know, like you don't invite too much comparison. You want to do something different, but also he definitely wants to evoke the structure, right? So I don't know. I'm sure he has something cool planned, because if he didn't have something cool planned, then he wouldn't be doing this, right?
Yeah. This is very dated, but like the twin series, the Belgariad and the Malorion, do a little bit of this, where they are mostly their own stories, but there are echoes of the structure and the plot between them. He world built in a reason he was hitting some of the same beats. Yes. So it can be done.
Yeah, and like I'm sure there's gonna be callbacks and things, and like things that do only make sense when you're reading it like straight through, right?
You know, maybe a more useful example is, and this is maybe controversial, but like Star Wars Episode 8, it felt like it was hitting a lot of beats of Episode 4, if I recall correctly.
Oh, are you talking about Force Awakens?
You're thinking about Force Awakens, and you're thinking of Episode 7, because that was
7. That's right.
Yeah.
Thinking, the first Rey
Yeah.
Well, let's hope we
Yes, that was a
can
new hope.
aspire a little bit higher than that. But
Well, but there are issues with that, right? But in terms of like themes and beats and stuff like that, it did rhyme with Luke's story.
Oh, yes. No,
In
certainly.
fact, I think it rhymed
And-
more than it should have. But
Yeah.
they didn't like the
no.
prequels. Let's do the thing they liked again. Let's
do
just
them
do
again.
that.
but with a girl.
I mean, the thing is, though, is that you do kind of have, and then we have a new cast of characters with the old cast of characters being older and guiding the new characters.
Oh,
It's like,
man.
there's a little
Well,
bit
I mean,
of
that
there.
Stormlight's going to have to deal with that, right?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
Yasna's still going to be older than,
That everybody. And
I mean,
Heaven
Ash and
Hills.
Tall, it's like,
Yeah,
Lift and Windrunner are the only, like, young, new
it is true.
characters, realistically.
Yeah.
What a great intro. The next WoB.
I mean,
Yeah.
Origin, anyway.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh, that is true. There is Oridon. But yeah, Grace, why don't you, we're getting into this next WoB, so why don't we, why don't you read this? That sounds
yeah. What do you think the protagonists of the second half of the Stormlight Archive are? The protagonists of the second half of the Stormlight Archive are the 5 flashback characters. You've got Lift, Yasna, Renarin, Ash, and Talon, and then you will remain with Kaladin, Shalon, and Adolin. And I'd say you're going to get most everything from them. Kaladin, Shalon, and Adolin should remain about the same level of import that they have. Of the 5 that I mentioned there, it's likely Lift and Talon will be kind of a little more, well, Yasna also. Ash and Renarin will probably be more of a main character in the way that Navani and Szeth were main characters, in that there's not as much there dedicated to them. But we'll have to see when I write the books. Publication order is Lift, then Renarin, then Planning Ash, and then Talon, and then Yasna. Yasna's last flashback viewpoint character for the Stormlight Archive. That's the plan right now.
So a lot of
Rip
this we've known
to-
before, I think.
Yeah.
Not all, right?
Not all.
Lift and Tone will be a little bit more. That's news.
That is news. I think that's
And
not
Yasna.
super surprising given let's say the reverence towards Taln in the front 5 that like obviously he's
Unearned,
gonna
yeah.
be he was always gonna be main character, eventually,
Yeah, I mean, if
right?
anything, the surprise is that Ash and Renarin are closer to like Navani and Szeth levels.
Yeah. Alex is malding over here, I'm sure. She's
in
furious.
shambles.
But
Uh,
I do think there's plenty to explore with Renarin that Brandon set up with Wind and Truth. And so, like, I definitely think there's threads to explore.
hmm And you do wonder, like, Brandon makes so many decisions, like, is some of the Gliss stuff maybe something that would have been explored more with Renarin, but it came forward in the front half, And so he's like, well, we've kind of
sure.
done part of what Renarin's role in the story is going to be, I'd be kind of curious about that.
that feels really, really likely to me.
Yeah, potentially. But, like, I still think there's so few answers that it's, like, clearly holding back for Renarin book, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
no,
just
for
off
sure.
the charts.
We better get some oaths and the flashbacks,
True,
we gotta get some of that.
Yeah, we do need to explore
He
that.
says Navani and Szeth level, but like even Navani, like she had a lot in Rhythm of War,
She
so we
did.
could get a whole book that's like the main focus is Renarin and Relane's journey, to become rulers of Alethkar, like he saw in that vision or
That does sound
whatever. And
actually
like
pretty
that's
badass.
that's
That
like
sounds
the
pretty
bulk
great.
of his. That's like the bulk of his story, and it's mostly contained in one book, but it's still a huge main plot line of that one
Yeah.
book.
That's true.
For sure.
Yeah.
I can see that.
I think of other note, Kaladin, Shalon, and Adolin should remain about the same level of import. Hell yeah.
I've been saying it for years. No one was going to put Kaladin on the back burner if he was still alive.
Mhm.
That wasn't
Yeah.
going to happen. We know it.
I am absolutely convinced that Kaladin will not be in book 6, though, and that he will show up in the epilogue, just like Town did in
Yes.
book 1. Like, there's no way that is not the case.
I'm so confident, though, that I'd almost be disappointed if it does happen. Because I'll just be like, yep, like I saw this, 5 years ago. But
Yeah, but
it'll be,
I
if
would
it's
be
well done, it'll be
disappointed.
well done.
I would be disappointed if it doesn't happen because, like,
That's fair.
I think there's been plenty of moments, like, I'm thinking about how Plate were the cousin Spren. And like that wasn't a surprise in Rhythm of War, but it was still extremely cool swearing the fourth ideal and things. So it's like we can see the event and like, but not know the beat by beat of that still feeling really cool. Like, especially if book 6 is like, we're really despondent, and then that Kaladin is that light at the epilogue. Like that can feel insanely good, even if we know it's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
The execution is very important.
The execution's very important
Yeah.
with that, for sure. For sure.
It's interesting to me that Aelin, like, I suppose, given Wind and Truth, it's not surprising to me that Aelin is staying important, but it's just so interesting that Aelin was always wasn't even planned originally to be a POV character.
Yeah.
And I'm always so curious, at what point he decided that he was on the same level ish, not quite, a tier below Kaladin and Shallan, and in terms of
Sure.
remaining even in the back half. It's so interesting to me.
Probably like Words of Radiance, Oathbringer
Well,
time,
so this
right?
this is saying that these 3 will stay
Yeah.
at the level that they are, not that the 3 are on the same level, right?
Yeah,
So-
no, I
Sure.
understand that, but
Does feel like we can't get quite as many POVs from these 3. Just, mathematically. But,
For
Yeah,
sure.
because we've lost Dalinar.
Yeah.
And someone like Tone, for example, steps in for him. We've lost Zeth and someone like
but he's still alive.
who is on Zeth's level, Ash or Renarin.
There's still
Yeah,
Zeth
but
stuff
we're
to
not
do.
gonna get- we're not going to
Yeah.
get POVs of him living a domestic life, and maybe
Yeah,
maybe
but the
an
plot's gonna
interlude
get
of
him
Zeth and
involved for
Shinovar.
sure.
He-
He's got
He's got Nightblood. He's got Nightblood right at the end of that book.
Yeah,
Doesn't
I
he?
know he does.
Yeah. Okay.
Like
Yeah, he's
we've
got
not
an
dealt
Nightblood.
with Vasher, Vivenna, Nightblood stuff at all. So like I feel like we got to get that sometime, right?
Well, Vasher is training
Lift.
Lift.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I
And
think
he'll wrap that up at the start of book 6. He'll be like, "You're all trained lift. I'm off to find Nightblood."
here's your black belt.
I think even
Or
if
rope
Navani
build.
becomes unstasis-ified, she'll still. I can see us not really getting many more Navani POVs.
And when you lock her to Earthero like she is, she's not able to travel
Yeah.
with the cast or go
Yeah.
anywhere.
Yeah.
That's kind of a limit.
Hmm.
I love that we talk about Navani like she is a flashback character, because she really essentially
really
is,
feels
you
like
know, but
one. Yeah.
she has subsumed
I mean,
Bentley.
She
So
has
largely
more
in my
than
mind.
Venli.
Bentley's not
Yeah.
mentioned in this one, but
Yeah, what Bentley fans
But we have to get
stay in line,
POVs.
okay?
we yeah. Like it's thinking about Wind and Truth of just how many things that
We're not getting more.
How do we do it?
We're not getting more Sigzil on the Shadow Plains.
That's true. We got
that's
Sigzil
another-
out of
that's
here.
another plot line
We got
too,
Sigzil
no?
out of here, so
Yeah.
Dalinar's out, Sigzil's out.
You.
Navani probably is going to be getting out of her cocoon eventually, right? So she's not permanently out, but she might be out book 1 or book 6 rather.
Yeah, I think the reintroduction of I think it's incredibly unlikely that we'll get both Kaladin and Navani returning in the same book.
I mean,
It's tough to say.
it's so the Navani cocoon thing is always just like, that sure is interesting.
So here's the thing, right? We start book 6.
Hmm.
I think we are going to want some grounding presence to carry us over from the previous book. And I think Shallan and Adolin can do that.
Sure.
And
Yeah,
then
yeah,
we
yeah.
also have we'll see Lift, we'll see Renarin, we'll see those characters, and they're going to be, different, but they're also going to be familiar. And then we're going to have, the Shallans and the Adolins who are familiar, because we've, 10-year gap and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I think characters like Navani and Kaladin, who are going to spend the gap between books 5 and 6 largely unchanged relative to
Sure.
Navani, literally unchanged, right? Those are going to be injected at a more regular pace to reinforce the support with the first 5.
Mm.
Mhm.
So we always have
yeah.
new characters and also old characters.
I actually, thinking about this, I think for book 6, it's very simple. Assuming that the heralds don't come back until the end, we have,
Sure.
comparing it to Way of Kings, we have Lift taking the Kaladin spot. We have maybe Yasna and Renarin being the Dalinar Adolin, and then we have
Sure.
like Shallan and Adolin being the Shallan plotline.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like that feels
the plotline no one
reasonable.
likes.
And then
No.
and then it's only when you start like reintroducing heralds, when we get 3 new characters, POV characters back,
That's
that are
true.
going to have tons of time, that it
That's true.
starts to feel more crowded again.
Yeah. I think that's true.
I could see Navani popping out at a key moment too. Is you
Yeah,
know
probably.
things are kind of going and all like we get like a side character, maybe like an interlude of some kid walking around like, oh, that's where Navani is, and then just like crack.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And like things are
be
about
funny.
to get real.
Yeah.
Lead into part 2. Navani to me always feels like she could be like, because we're in this like situation at the end of book 5 where they're going into some sort of like things will happen in the world, but they're going into a little bit of a stasis where like the world is kind of set as it is, and then we're going to pick back up when things start changing again. And so you do need a little bit of a circumstance change to be like, okay, why are things happening now? You know, and Navani coming back could be a big one. Although I do think that Lift's ability to create her own light is probably relevant for why she's important early on.
Probably.
But I think the big risk that you run is like you have to make sure that I always said this in the pre-show, that we really like lock in with these new characters. Like you don't want to have too much Shallan, Adolin, Kaladin, so people are going, well, why aren't we just spending time with them? Like we need to build like a similar bond with Renarin and Lift, especially Lift, that I feel like is a character that people have varying reactions to.
She's going to be so much less
feel
annoying. So if anyone's
For sure.
annoying, like she'll be
but
different.
we got to give her a chance.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I think she has to be given a substantial amount of space to kind of become a new favorite.
I could see something like maybe part 2 is when we're getting some Adolin Shallan stuff, and so we spent part 1 with kind of new cast and like Yasna's there and stuff, but like we're kind of we're spending part 1 kind of resetting a bit. And then
we're learning what the world is like, now. Like how are they surviving? What is life like in Azir? Maybe,
Yeah.
I just don't feel like Navani is going to wake up early, because then we would have spent no time in the story with her in stasis,
That's an interesting point.
I guess. I don't know why she's in stasis, aside from that Brandon doesn't want to have to
true.
explain
I do
that
not
she
know.
didn't die in the interim between the 2 books. Not that she's like that old, but you know what I mean? Like the stasis is not a plot element that I 100%.
Yeah. And I'm thinking the same thoughts, and I go, well, then it must be important that she's out of commission, not just during the 10 years between, but also for some period.
Like it's a plot point
back.
to awaken, to open Navani and the sibling back up, maybe, or something. I don't know.
Either a plot.
So
That
you
could be a
think maybe,
Yasna
like,
thing.
We hit like book 8, and it's like one of the big climaxes of book 8 is like the moment of freeing Navani.
Or not, not even that late, but yes.
I don't want to do another waking up Urithiru is the big conclusion.
that is fair.
That can't be it. I don't think I'm down for that.
But
I think the reason you lock Navani up is because, I mean, we know that you can't take Tower Light out, so the tower very far. But like they want to depower. He needs to depower Urithiru. He needs to do something to like keep them in their bubble and not make keep the Radiance on a leash for this period of time. And I think that's why he did it. And so I think Navani being frozen is more a consequence of that. And so that probably from a character perspective, we get to experience her grief for Dalinar in real time instead of having to be like, oh yeah, I've been mourning my husband for the last 10 years. Because we kind of, Brandon loves to, I love Brandon. Brandon loves to skip some of that stuff, like the juicy character stuff. And I'm glad that at the very least we'll get Navani. We're not learning about how someone read a book to Navani about how Dalinar died and getting their reactions fully off screen. We're going to get some real reactions.
I will say, I definitely agree with that, David. That may be a reason to awaken Navani in book 6, though, because, like, say you're reading it straight. Yeah. Like in book 6, and that, readers are kind of mourning Dalinar, and so then we get like kind of that reader stand-in where that is feeling very fresh. Like, I think that's possible. I think it's possible that that could be later as well, but that is an advantage of doing it sooner.
It'd be weird in book 8 though. We're like, Dalinar. We're
Yeah,
we're
not
Dalinar's been
care
dead
about
for
that.
3,000 pages, Navani.
Yeah, but then it depends on like how the Blackthorn fits into that.
Well,
Yeah, I
that's
was gonna
actually a
say,
great question.
Don't
Navani
remind me
waking
about the
up with
Blackthorn.
Be really something.
Maybe the Blackthorn goes to Urithiru, infiltrates Urithiru, and breaks open Navani. Boom. And Navani's
Yeah,
like,
there it
oh,
is.
Dalinar,
We
what's
cracked
up?
it. We cracked it.
Nailed
All right.
it. I'm sure
All right,
none of this will be
we
incorrect.
veered into hard speculation territory. Let's do
Well,
more
of
questions.
course we did with this WoB, Evgeni. Don't get on my case about that. Okay, good
No,
sir.
we're locked
No,
in today.
but hold on. I don't
Yes.
think Brandon will go this direction.
Great.
But I could see a world where you have Navani wake up and be like, "Oh my gosh, she survived," and
Like
then he
Dalinar?
goes and
He's
like murders everybody as the Blackthorn.
No, but she
And then it's
sensed
like-
him die.
Right. But then she sees him. It's like maybe she was wrong or something, right?
Mm.
Yeah, but she sees him
Is the
from
Blackthorn
30 years
like
ago.
a person?
I don't know.
I don't even know.
It's
Yeah.
unclear.
But she wakes up and she
Yeah.
sees the Blackthorn and she's like not catching yet what's going on. She just sees Dalinar.
I see what you mean. Because like you could sense him
Yeah.
die, then you wake up, you've been in a coma for 10 years, you're like, oh my
Exactly.
God, it's Dalinar. I guess
Yeah.
I was wrong. You
He's
know, like
there.
you would immediately
Yeah.
just be like, he's alive. You know, if the Blackthorn looks like him and can convincingly, like, I don't know what the Blackthorn is.
Right?
I mean, he at least started off as like young, 20-year-old Dalinar.
Not only is my husband alive, he's young and hot again.
Just
like
the
the best
Dalinar
bar
I
roll.
want. I want
Hey,
the
hey.
murderous
Yeah, I was
Dalinar
going
again.
with that.
Yes.
Grace,
Yes,
I
sir.
respect that take, but we all know Navani is a little bit of a freak and she likes ugly Dalinar more.
Hey. Dalinar's got that tight butt. Okay. I will not take that ugly Dalinar slander. Okay. She likes
I
it.
thought that was canon.
Canonically ugly. We're told that in book
Well,
one.
I'll
don't
believe
look
it
at
when
the
I see
official
it.
art though.
No official art. I did have a horror thought for you though with Navani. Are you ready?
Okay.
Oh boy.
Instead, sure, she's been in a coma physically, but really, she's spent thousands of years in the spiritual realm.
no.
Oh, God.
So much, and is basically a completely different character. The fact that I don't think that would be
That would be
very great.
crazy. She just can't be like another. Don't make her a herald, Brandon. She can't be like somebody who just like mutters stuff for like 2,000 pages. She's got to.
Yeah, that's why she's got to be in the cocoon, so she can't mutter things. She's
oh,
locked
thank
in
God.
there.
I am Navani. I'm here to teach you steel making.
Fabrial science.
Surely she
science.
teaches them the art of Fabrials, right? Like
Yeah,
if she is
yeah.
like
I was grasping. You're right.
I don't think Brandon would do that, but with the spiritual realm, anything's possible. But like the future sight shenanigans are obviously more Renarin things, so we can't have Navani do that, right? That'd be bad.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just wanted to give you that horror thought, and if I end up being right, then that will be funny or depressing. I don't know, maybe.
We'll find out in 5 years.
We'll find. Ooh. Yeah. I guess we will. Ooh. Do not like
it's
how
still
the
5 years.
Yeah, 5 years.
2031. Oh my
2031.
God. I guess the Mistborn books are gonna happen.
Yeah, there will be other books that will. Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, it's gonna happen sooner than we think. But yeah, these last 2 years have come real fast. Cool. Bonnie, why don't we talk about Nightblood?
From Questioner, what would happen if Nightblood were placed in a sheath of silver instead of aluminum? Brandon says, very bad for Nightblood, and it would burn away the silver. He would outlast the sheath of silver, but he would not be happy. He would be very unhappy. Depends on how much investiture he's currently holding.
Okay, I guess that makes sense, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe.
It makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah.
We've seen Aethers wither away. Or at least we're told that, like, in Tress, the spores kind of wear down the silver defenses of the ships, which
Sure.
I think we have interpreted as, oh, well, this feels similar to what we see with Shades and how silver kind of, it doesn't wither, like withering is a different effect, but like silver gets bad when it's,
Mhm.
Sure.
the power of silver gets expended when it
Gets
counteracts.
consumed. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it makes sense to me that Nightblood would be able to overpower or overwhelm a silver sheath, but it would probably hurt.
Yeah,
Sure.
Silver is very powerful. You know what I mean? Like sometimes it feels to be a little too powerful. Because you're like, okay, well, a silver sheath, that's, you know, a couple pounds of metal maybe, but you're like, okay, we'll put Nightblood in a silver block. You know, we put him in a full room of, like, you know, like,
Yeah.
Can we just wear him down with enough volume, which I mean would probably be hard to do or whatever, you know, but it's a hard check. You know what I mean? It's an interesting thing to see how Brandon balances some of those things.
Yeah, maybe Nightblood's too OP, and so we need some checks and balances here somewhere in the universe.
Like a silver mine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brandon creates really OP things and then he humbles them in the next book. So maybe that'll just be what it is.
One interesting aspect of this is depends on how much investiture he's currently holding, which I think that totally makes sense, right?
Mhm.
I guess we haven't necessarily had things ever phrased this way with, you know, we've certainly had Brandon talk about, you know, Nightblood being full, right? And so I
Yeah.
think that's what this is referring to, right?
Yeah.
But this is the first time it's kind of phrased in this way where it's like, yeah, this is the investiture Nightblood is holding. And, you know, when he's hungry, he is like, yeah, I am ready to eat more investiture. And like that is an aspect of him that he can be holding more investiture, right?
Yeah. Well, and remind me if we know this or not, because I'm forgetting now.
Great.
But like, is Nightblood still increasing in power? Because it seems like, you know, he eats stuff, you know, he gets very full, like in a short period of time, you know, like immediately post eating race, you know, some of that is destroyed and corrupted and lost. And some of that goes to building his own, you know, permanent residing power into a greater level. And that's still happening, right? He's not personally capped out, or do we not know about that?
I thought there was
I don't
a
think
more
we've
recent Bob
heard.
about this that like,
There might be.
I know we've
I
talked
think we've
about
heard
this.
about him like plateauing.
Yeah, that's kind of my recollection, but I don't.
Hmm.
The thing is,
Fair
if I
enough.
just search Nightblood and things, it's like, what other search terms
What?
do I need to do to modify this to?
What, 2,000 results?
Chuck that into an LLM, baby.
No,
Feel free.
I'm sure it will only give us the most accurate results. So I don't know. That it is just interesting. I wonder if that's part of the aspect of him being able to grant surges. Like maybe he needs to be like have some extra investiture that he's eaten in order to grant surges or something. But like hard to say. It's
Yeah, I don't know.
it's just an aspect that I don't think we've really talked about. It's just like before it'd be like, yeah, I'm full, man. Like, oh man, we sure destroyed a lot of evil. I'm like, yep, buddy, we sure did. Whereas this, it's like, yeah, Nightblood holding investiture. So kind of interesting.
His personality, at the very least, still changing. Like that's something that's definitely happening.
Mhm.
But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
guess we'll see.
I kind of think of that like the honor shard starting to kind of develop more of a personality. It just takes a really long time.
It's 100% that.
Mm-hmm. Anything more on this one?
I guess the only thing I'll say is it feels weird to like, can you soulcast silver? Can you create silver with soulcasting? We know you can.
I would
create
assume
aluminum.
yes. I would assume yes. If you can make aluminum, which is like inert, I assume you could
Yeah.
make silver.
Yeah,
you know, because you're
yeah.
And so part of me feels weird that you can like potentially destroy Nightblood by like soulcasting the air around it into silver. And so
fun.
surely you can't do that.
I think it comes down to scale.
Yeah, like
There's
he would
just
start
talking,
burning
it
away
would take a
quickly.
Huge amount of silver.
Yeah, but you can like Yasna soulcast massive rocks into smoke like it was nothing.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
what was the
air to stone
the-
is harder, right?
I mean,
Well, the air to foil, Eric. No.
I mean, it also is like there's the wob where I don't remember the exact wording, but it was a recent wob we did where Brandon Zander, it was something about shards, and he was like, well, this is theoretically possible, but would take more power than exists in the Cosmere.
Oh,
Where
yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
Maybe
But like,
that's
I don't think it's
theoretically
that.
impossible, but takes more. No, but I'm saying like it could be like theoretically you can just soul cast the air into silver, but it would take more power and more silver than like is reasonable to do. You know?
And it's contained in Nightblood, maybe. I mean, that like counterfactual, Yasna soulcasts that city wall, into bronze or whatever it is.
Sure.
She fills that gap.
She
makes
did do that,
she
yeah.
makes that city wall out of silver instead, and they're holding Nightblood up.
Yeah.
Well,
Would that
So
work?
like part of me goes, well, if a sheath is enough to make an impact, not enough to destroy him, but like he's not gonna be happy about it, and a sheath is a few pounds. Can you chuck a ton of silver at Nightblood? And like obviously the answer is no. Like obviously this is not the solution to Nightblood, and so part of me finds this WoB a little bit.
well, just it's
I don't
saying
know if you
very
thought about
bad
the
doesn't mean it can be
consequences.
destroyed. Nightblood being very unhappy is not the same as I put him in a huge ass block of silver and it's gone now. Like Swab does not say that.
The way I'm thinking about this is almost in terms of like burns, where it's like you can get a sunburn and not be happy, but it's not nearly enough like of a burn to kill you, right? Like,
Yeah, you could be like very, very unhappy,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe he burns down to some sort of minimum, you know what I mean? Where he's just like as low, as weak as he possibly can be, and then at that point, it doesn't really do much to him anymore. But I will say, Eric, I do think that depends on how much Investiture he's currently holding opens the door
Sure.
to him potentially being weaker at times and potentially being vulnerable.
Clearly, this is just leading to some back half plot line where we have to take a sword out of a stone, but it's just a giant block of silver and Nightblood's in it. And you clearly need the super powerful Fabrial that you have to reawaken Navani and the sibling to get the power to put into Nightblood to have enough Investiture to pull Nightblood out. Easy peasy. I nailed it.
Oh, don't spoil it.
All
Don't
right.
spoil it for
All
them,
right.
Eric. Okay.
Future spoilers here, guys. But yeah, that is a valid point, David, for sure. Cool. This one is from
What's this next WoB doing here, Eric?
Glamdring 804. So I took a calculus class from Professor Lake. Hey, that's me. In real life, does that make me implicitly canon in the Cosmere? Brandon, yes. Glamdring, apparently you're canon in 2 Legendariums. So yes, because Glamdring is a Lord of the Rings reference. So yes, this is true. This is a former student of mine who was like, hey, I think my professor is a Cosmere fan because I put a reference on a quiz and he posted it on the forums. And I'm like, hey, that's me. What's up? Which is still very funny. But
And now if you go to the Copper Mine and you search Glamdring, you'll see the character article we created for him.
no, I don't think we did that. But I thought that was fun. So there you go. David, let's do our last WoB from the December spoiler stream, guys. We
Hell
did
yeah.
it.
Yay!
We did it.
Damn.
Hey.
We did it.
Nikolai.
Well,
we're
not yet. No, not yet. Not yet.
Yeah, that's a good point. We're celebrating too early. All right.
We still have
this
time to get distracted.
we're locked
Good
in.
point, yeah.
Race, you're distracting
in.
our locked-inness.
And this is an interesting WoB that I clicked on the link for once because I was like, I feel like we have squished 2 different WoBs together, but I guess they're all just part of one right here. And I confirmed it for myself. So this is coming from L-U-C-A-18 or Luca 18, maybe.
I appreciate you
In
saying
Isles
the
of the
dashes.
Emberdark. Yeah, it's part of it. In Isles of the Emberdark, we see Skadrians use a machine to cut Chrysalis's connections between her hordlings. Would an Alamancer burning copper achieve the same result? Similarly, could a hordling be discovered by burning bronze? Brandon, what a good question. This is in the same power portfolio as copper, but an Alamancer burning copper wouldn't naturally just do this. Can they be discovered by someone burning bronze? Again, in the same power portfolio, but no, an Alamancer burning bronze would not detect one. What we're getting into in the space age is we're getting into the ability to reach beyond human limits for achieving things with technological intervention, shall we say, maybe innovation. That's just me. Technological development, which is something I wanted to see the Cosmere do because it's something that has happened in our world. We use technology to augment our strength far beyond what we could do. Well, this is what you're seeing happening here. And then Adam jumps in with, are you going to have something equivalent to like CRISPR in Era 4? And Brandon says, Era 4, we are working on something. We'll RAFO that.
And CRISPR is
So-
like the gene editing thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. I think that makes a lot of sense that we're going to have not just technological replication of abilities, but like we're advancing upon those abilities
Augmentation.
and like iterating on that to, augmenting them. Mm-hmm. So I think that makes a lot of sense. And also I do think copper would be too powerful if it could disrupt hordlings. to be honest. So I think this is fine. That it's a super powerful copper type thing.
If you want the Hordlings to be as threatening to the Scadrians as they apparently are, it cannot be such that any copper clouds can just
but also like mistings have like grown a lot weaker, and so I did want to pose the question of, do we think that a really powerful copper cloud, throw in Duralumin, throw in Lerasium, whatever, can achieve this? Or do we think that this is like in the same family of powers, but copper by itself is insufficient?
I would say yes, because of the Koloss, because of how the Koloss work. So Koloss, you have to control them using Allomancy.
Sure. Yeah. And so
I think on the same kind of level of power, just in a different way.
Okay, I see.
Having copper.
So you think like Vin, for example, or like Ellen, for example, with Duralumin might be able to achieve the same thing that we see here?
That's what I'm leaning towards.
I think that it's we see from Brandon that people can specialize in various things with their powers. And so I think if you were maybe Lerasium Mistborn that was somehow aware of Hordlings and like specialized, in practice and was trying to intentionally use your power in that way, you might be powerful enough to pull it off. But on the other hand, like in the example with the Koloss and whatnot, we see that some of that stuff is just kind of stacking powers. So like they've talked about how a bunch of soothers or riders working together could achieve what a Koloss does. So I don't know why you wouldn't just be able to stack copper clouds. Maybe that is just what they're really doing ultimately, is it's just a really powerful copper cloud that's more powerful than what anybody can make. Or at least what normal people can make. But, it seems like a lot of the times it's more a question of magnitude rather than skill.
Specialization, yeah.
Yeah, because there's like part of the swab that Brandon wants there to be technological things that humans can't do. But on the other hand, Lerasium Mistborn are kind of supposed to be these mythological things that are not like easily accessible. Right. So I think like these can both be true. I think a Lerasium Mistborn could do it. I think that's possible.
And I guess we'll see how rare Lerasium Mistborn are going forward, considering we've managed to create some relatively recent. It's hard to say what they will have access to. Like the people in Isles of the Emberdark didn't strike me as a bunch of Lerasium Mistborn who just weren't using their power.
Yeah, I mean they certainly do have a Rasheg hanging out.
Certainly, my impression is that it has only gotten more rare. So I think for whatever reason, whatever plateau we had of like lower bound of power for like allomancy, if they're spreading to space age and interbreeding all over the place, like it's possible that mistings are even less powerful in Era 4 potentially. But certainly I don't have any evidence to say that there's a lot of Lerasium Mistborn in the space age, right? Yeah. There's no evidence that says that, and a lot of evidence that they're using tech to do things, right? So
I will say that with the Koloss comparison, I think there's an element of like spiritual damage from the hemalurgy that makes it easier that I don't know that the Hordlings have.
Yeah, that's
that's fair.
And that makes me feel like it's might not necessarily, like, quote unquote, as easy as it would be to control a Koloss, even if it's possible.
I don't know if you would control a horde. Like, I wouldn't believe you.
No, I'm not saying like control a hordling, but like in terms of the power you need to do it, like maybe
they're not directly analogous.
Yeah, they're not enough.
That's fair. The other thing that also contributes to that is there is like Dusk's ability to navigate the Emberdark, even though he's never in the Emberdark, is not a function of power. It is, right? Because what he's doing is not like a super powerful seeking thing. Like his ability is definitely in the same family as Bronze, as any seeking, but it's like hyper specialized.
Yeah. Sure.
Mhm.
And I don't know if that is just like, I don't know if that's a specialization in terms of skill or if that's specialization in terms of like sensitivity. So in other words, I don't know if he's like the human version of an electron microscope. And so theoretically, you could achieve the same thing with technology, but in practice, that hasn't happened.
Yeah.
Or if this is just, you can't achieve this arcana with technology.
Or at least they haven't, because they didn't know you could do that. You know, like they've not had a dusk type person to study and try to replicate, you know.
Correct. Although my impression is that navigators are going to be their own like commodity and
Sure.
Or like the idea of, just thinking about other quote unquote like magic families in the Cosmere. Light weaving has the ability to mimic sounds if you like, but that doesn't necessarily mean every form of light weaving in the Cosmere can do that. Maybe there's somewhere that's just not possible no matter how powerful you are. So maybe it's kind of similar with this.
Like a family of abilities.
Mm.
Yeah.
This is making me wonder if the copper, this effect to cut Chrysalis's connections, if it had any baseline copper effects, or it is just like a hyper specialized thing, very much designed to disrupt these sorts of connections, right? That's like, there's it is in this family, but it's like just so hyper specialized to do this that like maybe seekers do work here, whereas normally like you wouldn't be able to seek into a copper cloud. Normally, we've seen exceptions. I'm not talking about that, but just like it's not baseline copper. It is copper that is very specialized to do exactly this.
I'm trying to think if any of their other tech is like would have been disrupted by like a copper cloud being up while they were doing that, and I don't think I remember clearly enough.
Yeah, like there's mention of like there's the technology itself, right? They have communicators, span readers. They work.
What's something else?
Oh, span readers work.
Okay, I have a question.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Do we think that in Rhythm of War, with the Radiance going down, is the same family of abilities?
The suppressor?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Because that, I mean, even...
At
It's
least
the
by
same family of
vibes.
abilities as a copper cloud.
Oh, okay,
specifically.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, as a copper cloud.
All right. I have the quote of the thing that I was thinking of, and so I'm just totally wrong. They'll have an interference cloud set up. Those are usually a bad idea. They interfere with all kinds of essential systems. While that's up, Danger will have no sensors, no FTL communication, nothing for any of the ships. But it will also prevent the various pieces of Chrysalis's body from linking. Okay. I was like, I know there's something about this. So like, which one is it?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
the
relevant.
quotes,
Nice
so
one,
we
Eric.
don't go off on Nowheresville and just be objectively wrong.
People in the comments.
Yeah,
heading
no,
off a whole
they'll
5-minute
get
long
it.
discussion. Yeah.
Yeah. Delete. I know you're typing. Stop typing. Delete.
It's whether we can
got it.
find the quote fast enough, and if we remember it off the top of our heads from a year ago. So this makes it sound like it's more very enhanced copper, right? So this makes me more think it is possible for a Laurassian Mistborn to do something like this. Because it's not a hyper-specialized ability. It's like a very powerful version of copper that affects a lot of things.
Seem like that, yeah. I am intrigued by the comparison with the suppressor though.
Sure.
I'm leaning away
maybe
from it
this
being the
isn't
same
like-
thing.
Maybe this is like Laurasian Mistborn enhanced by hemalurgy the same way Vin Seeking was, using Duralumin could hit it or something like that.
Sure.
Like something crazy where it's like you really need to stack powers and to get that strong.
Or like Lord Ruler, right? And like that's a very
you took
specific
all
situation.
16 beads instead of sharing them.
I do think, though, that I don't think copper with Duralumin would work with this because I think you need to sustain the effect, right?
Yeah.
Whereas Duralumin gets a copper burst very quickly.
I'm saying Duralumin enhanced, Laurasian Misting or Laurasian Mistborn with a spike enhancing their copper could like disrupt it for a moment, but that's not really like practical and useful for the long term.
Can you burn Duralumin with Laurasium to get stronger when you burn it? Anyway.
Anyway.
That's a tangent. We're not touching that one.
I know. That's why I said anyway. I think the reason that I think that copper clouds are different than suppressor Fabrial is I think you don't see the same kind of, at least there's no recollection I have, when people burn copper. I've never seen anybody kind of lose consciousness. Like that, to me, maybe that's just a unique part about the Radiant Bond or what was going on there. But it was, people were passing out. And I've never seen that sort of similar effect from a copper cloud. And I'm trying to remember if we know, do we know what metals are associated with the suppressor Fabrial?
We do not.
I don't think we know any details about that suppressor Fabrial. I was like, I need to check the translated text on the Rhythm of War. I don't think the suppressor's on there.
The only thing we know is that the Fabrial that we see, like the prototype that we see early in the book, the same kind of cage is then seen around the sibling's heart, and that tells us that it's the same effect.
Mm-hmm. Because if it was like a copper, I'd be like, well, probably. But it feels to me like it could be something more silvery in nature. I don't know if you could use silver in a Fabrial. That might be a bad idea. But
I mean, you'd probably be burning away the spread.
Yeah.
I do think there's room for copper to be involved in the cage, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I wouldn't say that's unreasonable.
Do we know copper's effect in?
Who knows? Let me look. I'm on the Coppermind page. Let's see. Copper.
I've been wanting to make that joke. The copper mind.
A reaction. Yeah. Stew metal.
Copper and a Fabrial allowed to conduct energy or transmit thoughts. What is this?
That's right. Oh, that's right. Because
that's the Stormlight handbook citation.
No. This is correct. No, this is correct.
Because the light spread do that on the ship.
Yeah, the light sprint ships, they have like metal things, and the sprint touch the things, and that's how they communicate with each other.
Is that a Fabrial, though? That's not a Fabrial.
It's not a Fabrial, but it's the spiritual integrity of copper.
All I'm saying is, if the citation is to the Stormlight handbook, grain of salt. I don't believe there's not an epigraph that says that.
There's not an epigraph. You are correct. This is coming from that. I flagged it with Brotherwise, and they said they checked it, and this passed the Dragonsteel review. So, this is in the hierarchy of information, right? Books are up top, Words of Brandon are next, and I think this is next.
And in fairness to them, what I was thinking of was not the RPG handbook. I was imagining. Do you guys remember the small book that was like the Stormlight handbook?
Oh, the little
was, given out for like an indie books. I've got one of them too somewhere.
I've got 2 of those.
Wow, those ones might actually be collected.
But a pocket companion for the Stormlight archive.
I was about the pocket companion, and I was like, I don't know who put the pocket companion together.
No,
so the RPG has
there's
a lot more.
No way details like this are in this 0%.
No, I was like, it felt like a bad citation. Like I was like, I don't think that's right. Like,
well, it also says
RPG
a pocket companion to Way of Kings and Words of Radiance, so that gives me even less confidence.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, I think Tim has killed me with that.
Oh, that's really got you, huh?
Yeah, I don't know why.
All right, we got characters, we got locations, we have a map, we have some ecology.
There was like one potential novel Bondsmith fact in there. People were like, can we count on this or can we not?
There's like a life cycle of Chul here. I don't know if I've actually seen this before.
That's like an art. That's one of the early art.
That's in Shallan's
illustrations.
Okay, well, I haven't reread Kings in a while. Okay, don't get on my case. All right.
You guys didn't realize, you'd all forgotten that Chul's enter a senescent period where they appear to turn into boulders in the land at a certain stage in their life.
That is one of my favorites. Trivia, yeah.
And Kusakesh is mentioned in here.
Happened.
We have named Spren, Syl, Pattern, Kusakesh, Stormfather, and now we're into Knights Radiant. We're talking about the Knights Radiant. Okay, yeah. So anyway, and then we have some fashion.
I think it's just the thought of it's like the combination of David thinking of his ass over the RPG and the fashion.
This is
would be in the handbook.
I have to read this last page on this. Are you guys ready? You guys ready?
Yeah.
Well, sorry, second to last page. Not the author note. That's fine.
Oh.
This is it's a subheader called Unanswered Questions. Rafa.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
With 3 dots, but not on the O, just on the R, A, and F. We don't get a dot for the O. And then there's just questions, and it says, how will access to easy transportation via Urithiru change a Lethkar? Why did Dalinar
Not
go to
much.
the Night Watcher? And what boon did she grant him in exchange for his curse? Who or what is the Night Watcher? What are the Ghostbloods planning? Where is cultivation? Can Roshar survive the Everstorm?
Well, we got all those questions answered now. Thank you,
Yeah.
Stormlight Companion.
I also have this Way of Kings notebook thing.
I've never seen that in my life.
I don't think I've seen that.
This is,
Can you hold up the
well,
cover
there's some
again?
Chinese symbols here, so I think this is from some Chinese edition. That's like, it's like a day planner. It's got like Monday.
What's on the
Is it,
front?
like,
of
is it like a calendar for like 2011? Like what?
And no, it
And
just
the
has
collector's
weeks.
guild is the collector's guild is frantically searching for a piece of merch.
I will get pings momentarily.
What is this?
Do we? It is all the same symbol up here, the same kanji here. So, yeah, I don't know. This is next to my. No, it looks like this.
What even is that?
I don't know what to tell you. It is the Way of Kings notebook. That's what it
But
says.
like, what is on the cover? Like, I cannot
I
cannot
don't
process
know.
myself.
It's a dude with a helmet.
Is it a guy with? I literally don't even see a guy.
Oh, I see.
I
it
see, like,
now.
an eye.
Okay.
Person, yeah, person,
okay.
helmet.
I was
yeah.
seeing like a dragon
Give it
eye.
a-
There we go.
I see it.
Is this
I
more
see it.
focused? There we go.
No, it was really more just
Yeah.
that my eye was struggling to interpret.
But then also
image into anything.
Now he's gone.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Another. That is truly baffling, Aaron.
You like how I have those ready? I'm like, oh, I
Yeah.
got you covered. Chief.
You're sure that's official merch? That wasn't some knockoff
have
that they
no-
sold.
Look,
Based
on
on
the
how
back,
I've never seen this.
I don't know. I think I got these at the same time, so I could not tell you. But we got a bunch of symbols. It says Stormlight Archive, The Way of Kings, more kanji, and then at the bottom it says Fantasy Foundation. So I don't know if this is official merch. Maybe it's from the Chinese publisher. Presumably.
Why?
I don't know why Monday through Sunday on here is in English text. I don't know, but
I mean,
Why not?
it's what is this? I don't know. Way of Kings notebook. What more do you want from me?
Yeah,
Okay.
people. Yeah, set off in the comments if you know what the hell this thing is.
But yeah, we always forget the Stormlight pocket companion. Nice. So anyway, no, it has nothing about Fabrials. I can confirm. I just looked through
Shockingly.
it.
yeah.
Keep talking.
Anyway, I'm sure that's exactly what this questioner wanted us to get to when reading this question. So you're welcome.
I'm loving
Yeah.
the mid-episode show and tell.
Yeah, which I guess the TLDR of this entire discussion is we still think that there are certain things you can achieve with just like sheer power, and certain things you can potentially achieve only by hyper specializing. And yeah, maybe you can build like a machine that is hyper specialized, but in a lot of the cases, that's not going to be what we are seeing. In this case, we're probably looking at like an extremely powerful copper cloud.
Isn't it interesting that when this is up, there's no sensors, no FTL communication? That's interesting.
I don't
mean, FTL's
think
magic.
a span. Yeah, I don't think a span rate and a copper cloud would work. So like that makes sense to me if they're working off a span rate or whatever however they're sending the signal now. Yeah, and I mean they're probably, if they're doing FTL communication, they're not using radio. So like it's.
I guess the sensors are probably like seeking type thing, and it's. I guess I'm going
or
off
like
to
a life
what
sense.
Sure,
thing.
like a life sense. Yeah, actually, honestly, a life
I think
sense
that's mentioned
type
specifically.
thing. Yeah, no, that probably. Yeah,
They did have life sense to like that's how they were looking for Hordlings specifically, and that's why Chrysalis ended up hiding in the smuggler's box.
Man, Emberdark stuff is so cool. Just like
also,
using the life sense, hell yeah.
Span readers or span reads at least not FTL. They are life
I guess that's true.
Well, then how they talk in FTL then? What's the span reader?
Surely
They're
there's
talking
like
globally.
gonna.
It's even more magical, right? Whatever it is,
What I
it's
was
even
gonna
more
say, like-
magical than
I was gonna say something, but I just had the thought of like, surely it's like an awakened steel mind or whatever. But I actually don't know if like would this disrupt
say
an
that.
awakened steel mind? Wait,
You
what?
can't say it's an awakened steel mind when we don't know what an awakened steel.
Like that answers all the questions.
Surely
the
it's the
awakened
thing
steel
we don't know
mind.
anything about.
I would
Easy.
say, Grace, here I'm going to speculate for you, is that it would not be, because like you can still use allomancy in a copper cloud. It just can't, like it's just kind of blocking
can
stuff,
cost the-
You can. It's not like you can't burn iron or steel in a copper cloud.
Yeah.
But if you were to use a suppression Favriel or something similar to that, I don't know that an awakened steel mind would like that very much.
Yeah, I think that's a good distinction. One of them is
Yeah.
you're putting a wall around stuff, and like magic works outside, magic works inside, but magic can't cross the boundary. And the other one is you're putting a nullification field.
Yeah, but you're still using this to suppress the Hordlings. Isn't that the same thing?
Yeah. That's I was thinking that. That's a
I
fair,
also don't
fair point.
agree with the characterization of copper clouds, like you just said, Evgeni. Like copper says it prevents seeking. It's not a wall. You can push stuff in and out. Like it's fine. Doesn't matter. Like
Well,
the
but
physical
when
stuff.
you-
Like it's not the same thing. It is nullifying a very specific magical thing, right?
Sure, allomantic copper has a very specific
Like
effect.
that it's deadening rhythms or something, right? Like it's masking those or something, right? Like anything that is doing rhythm detection things, right?
Sure.
Yeah. Those
Mhm,
spiritual
yeah.
waves.
I think I've been convinced that this Fabriel does more than just a straight copper cloud.
Yeah.
That there is
I-
another aspect to it.
I would buy that because they call it an interference cloud. So I think it's probably something a little bit grander. Here's the last thing I'll say on span readers. If you ask Brandon, do they use span readers to do FTL like communications? I think there's a good chance he'd say yeah. So I don't know that he's firmly delineated what's FTL, what's not FTL until we really get into it. But we'll see.
Yeah, but also what does it mean, FTL? Like, if you're communicating from Shadesmar to the physical realm, what is that?
Okay, that is a fair
Well,
point.
that's intra-realm communication, Argent. That's a different thing.
You route the radio waves through the spiritual realm.
Yeah,
and
like
it can
what is
come out
Easy.
wherever instantly.
Yeah, like
Easy.
if I am in the Rosharan Subastral,
Mhm.
if I'm in Celebrant, and I use a span reader to communicate with someone in Ellendale City, what are the speed limits on that communication?
That's I give up and we move on to the next one.
Have we-
I mean,
we
we
seen-
do have a Seon doing that.
I feel
Oh,
like
no, they-
span
Seon's like-
reads wouldn't work if they're bonded between like if one end is
Oh.
in a different realm. I
I
feel
was
like
gonna
that
say,
should,
have we ever seen that happen?
I don't think
Because
we've seen that happen.
I can't
I don't
recall
think
an
that works.
instance where someone
We
has
have
written to
not.
someone in a
This
different
is based on Dager having a phone call. Like Dager is
Yeah.
in the Subastral, and he's having a phone call with an Arcanist in like the Dragonsteel, or not the Dragonsteel, but like the ex Dawnshard Vault, which presumably is in the physical realm.
Was that a recording though?
I thought it was a video recording.
No, this
They
was
played.
This was sorry, maybe it was not the Vault, but it was when he was showing off his the I was gonna say the Aethermancer.
The intensifier?
Aetherbound.
Yes.
The Aetherbound
Oh, yes.
that works with him, right?
that video call. Yeah,
Yeah.
the ones
Well-
that like we've got Aethers that don't answer to the Aetherbound, that don't answer to the
Yeah.
Aethers. Oh my god.
I mean, we don't know how any of that tech works, so it's probably fine.
Yeah, it'll work if Brendan needs it to.
I'm just saying, Dager's reference to a span reader is he says, run it through a span reader, pay an information broker in Silverlight. So they could, it's within the same realm, so it's fine, probably. And there's maybe other things that the information brokers can do to contact physical realm locations. That's fine. Maybe.
I'm sure the people from the 17th chart know how to do it.
Yeah.
Ask the 17 shard. They know how this works.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. I appreciate that, Bonnie. Well, on that delightful note, we are finally done with the December spoiler stream. Wow. It didn't even take this whole
Whoa.
episode. 5
Go ahead.
episodes of
Cosmeregirl.
WoBs later. Easy. Over 2 months of episodes. Easy peasy.
If you think about it, it's a good thing he didn't do the June spoiler stream because we wouldn't have been ready. So we should all be grateful.
I mean, I could be more choosy in picking the WoBs, but I hope people are having fun. So now we are getting into WoBs from this year. Whoa, it's July. We're getting 2026 WoBs. Hey, we did it, guys.
Whoa.
And these next few, and by few I mean 2, are. Oh wait, no, these are not from the same thing. Doesn't matter. It's from March when the Hoid storybook Kickstarter was coming out. Okay, that's what it was, and there
It
were
was
some
probably
streams.
one of those streams.
It's probably one of those streams, and that's fine.
Remember,
It's fine. I don't remember which one it is. They're not in separate events. I don't care. So, Evgeni, why don't you tell us if there's anything Cosmere significant in Fires of December? Wow.
Yeah. Hello, my name is Brandon Sanderson, and
No.
to answer the question,
No,
is there
false.
anything significant in Fires of December? I say the following. I would say low to medium Cosmere connections. It is equivalent to, I would say, Tress of the Emerald Sea and Yumi and the Nightmare Painter. So, not as Cosmere connected as Isles of the Emberdark or even Sunlit Man. If you know the Cosmere, there will be things that show up and you're like, oh, that's fun. And it's meant as a self-contained story.
I think we've mentioned this on the show at some point because we've done other episodes, but I think this is worth saying.
So no Aedenalcium shattering explanation, probably.
Yeah, I don't think
Well,
so.
we're
Probably not explanation. There may be an offhanded mention of Hoid going, so I and 16 others.
Yeah.
I mean, we definitely had some interesting stuff with Tress and Yumi, so like that's fine. It's just not.
Yeah.
It's not Sunlit Man or Emberdark, and that's fine. And I didn't get that impression that it would be, right?
Yeah.
I think that's
Sounds
perfectly
good.
fine.
Makes sense.
This next one was asked by someone named ARG Ent. I think maybe they really are into like a online ARG about like Ents the creatures or something like that.
Lord of the Rings ARG, baby.
Yeah.
You gotta go
So
in the
they ask-
forest.
Between the Travail series and the picture book ones, which story is Hoid's favorite to tell? I'm gonna say The Dog and the Dragon. That one's just a fun story to tell. And then Adam also asked, which one's his least favorite to tell? Maybe him as a coat rack? And Brendan said, yeah, him as a coat rack. The Hoid's Travails he enjoys telling, but they're all, something miserable has happened to me. I don't know if he revels in these quite as much, though him having bad fashion sense, I think, is more embarrassing to him. Korak is a thing that was done to him. It was his fault, but having bad fashion sense, he kind of got himself into that one.
I think all of that makes sense and is about the extent of things we were gonna get from a non-spoiler stream.
Yeah.
I wish this ARG Ent would ask juicier questions.
Right. He really feels like a quantity over quality type of guy.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's your motto.
we can say that for sure.
Anyway, I thought those were just fun to include, just because, getting some Fires of December, Hoid's Travails thing. Right. Sorry, I forgot that. Yeah, this was the Kickstarter. Sorry, backer kit crowdfunding campaign. Sorry, ARG End.
Yeah. Yeah. You're about to be sued for referencing Kickstarter.
You're gonna be sued.
No.
Where you've got the Dragonsteel edition of Fires of December. That feels like 1 billion years ago to me, so I'm like, I don't even remember. So
It does.
nice.
AKA 4 months ago.
Yeah,
AKA
only a few months ago.
4 months, 1 billion years.
I can't wait to see those books.
All right. Well, now we are on to JordanCon. A mere 3 months ago. We're cruising, guys. Wow.
We love JordanCon.
Hey, we love
Brag,
JordanCon. Go to JordanCon. It's fun. And Bonnie, why don't you do this one?
All right, so JordanCon WoB number 1 on the list. Questioner asks, I've heard you speak about Anne McCaffrey a lot. That's my second favorite book. I was wondering if there are any areas in the Cosmere and your other novels, wherever, that the Anne McCaffrey books had influence or you got inspiration from. And Brandon says, I've told people before, so it's not a huge spoiler. There is a planet with straight up Anne McCaffrey style dragons. Just like the shards that were human created human populations, there is a shard that has created, you might call them lesser dragons. Dragons in the Cosmere. A lot of them are going back to the ancient Eastern lore of the shape-changing deific sort of things. The same lore that ended up inspiring some D&D and things like this. They are powerful, shape-changing beings that are immortal. These are cool dragons that we ride around on and have human-level intelligence, but not immortal, and things like that. And we will get there eventually. I couldn't not do it. I've been waiting until I find a good place to write that story. And you might, if you're a Cosmere lore expert, know which dragon that is. And it is somebody who does not want to be found.
Cultivation. Okay.
No.
Right. So surely this is Valor.
Surely. Yeah, absolutely.
Whom we know
for
to be the great dragon god, and people have been having difficulties locating her.
I can't imagine how the great dragon god would, be creating lesser dragons. That's wild.
Dragon, yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I think that's a good reminder because I think this was mentioned in the big Brandon's now going to talk to us about dragon lifestyle things. Life cycle, not lifestyle, Jesus. The dragon life cycle. Yeah. This is definitely more explicit, right? Especially with Valor here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of, this just cropped into my head. It's kind of interesting that, obviously from an outside perspective, Brandon's like, I want to have a diversity of dragons so I can do like cool human shipping dragons, and I can do other sorts of dragons that are maybe more like Ragnar's a Pern style. But when like the humans that became shards, they just made other humans. And the dragons who became shards made not as good They're like, we're gonna make some dragons that are a little bit more normal. They didn't make they were like, we're not gonna make anything that could challenge us.
The dragon dragons cost so much more investiture to make. Like, it's what a bother. I would be at a disadvantage fighting other shards. Okay.
I mean, do they? You just plug them into the spiritual realm.
I feel like you can't just make such high-powered individuals without that being somewhat of a liability.
Where do dragons draw their power from? Are they in Alcium Investiture still, or
those are some good questions about the origins of dragons. Like,
yeah, but or alternatively, you can imagine the humans making just crappier versions of the humans. Like, they're just a little dumber and not quite as tall.
Well, we'll have to see with, Rosharans being Adenalcium originally made versus Scadrians, which are shard created, baby.
Can we have nice reading and writing on dragons? Can we do that? Because that sounds like so much fun.
I mean, that's what Larkins are for, right?
We have
dragons.
Larkins.
Yeah.
Or Lancerin, I should say.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Dragons, like the big dragons, like give birth as humans, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Where do you think like the egg thing came from in the thought process? Was it just like they're reptilians, so they're gonna presumably the lesser dragons Valor created are gonna lay eggs, right?
Oh, like they're gonna have like a fully dragon lifestyle. So if you're like, okay, well, if they're not gonna turn into people, how are they gonna do it? That's an excellent question, Grace.
Yeah, probably the reptilian connection is what I would say.
Yeah,
I believe you mean
Fane
Fane connection, because dragons are Fane, and we know all about that. And maybe,
I feel like they have to have eggs. Like, the dragon egg is such a staple of the kind of story this is drawing from.
Yeah,
where it's like...
Yeah. That's fair.
I was you were like saying, what about the dragon eggs, the egg thing? And I'm like, what are you talking about?
And I'm just mentally scrolling down the bibliography list. I'm like, what?
Egg?
No. My mind was like, how did Valor decide to go for eggs?
I don't think we know that they lay eggs, but I do think they probably do.
They do.
I don't know.
But surely they do.
Maybe you're assuming that the human dragons don't give birth to an egg, Grace. Okay, so we don't know that.
About that.
No.
We need dragon birthing scenes.
Yeah, that'll be. Well, get ready for the next 17 short interview. We're like, we really need to pin you down on this one, Brandon. We got more dragon reproduction questions. We'll get to the other stuff later.
Great.
I feel like eggs are probably easier. As someone who has not given birth, I feel like eggs
Right.
are probably easier than humanoids.
For a human?
No, for the dragon, I think. Well, I don't know actually.
I don't even know
Yeah,
what
it's
we're
just-
going on.
I think
Yeah,
think it's
we're
'cause we're talking
way
to
out there
guys.
now. Yeah.
eggs just feel more ergonomic, you know?
Gosh.
Okay, let's move on to the next question. let's talk about something else.
I am
I don't-
making no comments here.
I do not want to talk about Argent's eggs and how easy. Yeah, we're not doing that. Ents don't lay eggs. What are you doing? You're not. Yeah,
No, they've got seeds.
yeah.
I
Eggs.
just spread the pollen in the wind.
Great.
Although there are ant wives, so I don't know.
That's super great.
I mean, not
guys.
anymore.
Not anymore. Not anymore.
Wow. Hard pivot to a Tolkien podcast. Let's go. Brandon did a Tolkien talk at JordanCon. Well, that was his practice Tolkien talk for his one at Oxford. And so now we're just going to hard pivot. We are now purely a Tolkien Legendarium podcast. I believe I'm
That's
an
true.
expert for watching some lore videos. So I'm ready to go.
We're going to
All
be a
right, the
lot
Eagles,
smarter to
let's
be a
go.
Tolkien podcast.
I used to know how to write in Quenya.
Wow. Oh, okay.
Very
All
nice.
right. Sick. All right. Anyway, we're not going to talk about any of that, actually. So this next questioner asks, I'm curious what's coming down the pipe that no one's asking about that you're most excited for people to start asking about. Brandon says, oh boy, what I am excited to be embracing for the next run, right? We have 3 modern day Mistborn books, then it's back to Stormlight. That's what's in the pipeline. I do think Fires of December is one of my strongest books ever. That's what's coming out. A few people in this room have read it. That's true. And I think it is among my strongest books, and I'm very proud of that one. But it's another Hoid story. It's like Tress, so it's not for everyone. It's not that I'm anticipating and wanting. It's that I'm bracing myself for the weird things I'm going to do to you in the back half of Stormlight.
Sure, man.
We were super successful at speculating back half Stormlight stuff before, so I'm sure we can figure out the crazy crap that Brandon's going to do in the back half. I do think, I'm sure Brandon has some absolutely insane crap that we couldn't possibly guess. Like, okay, Brandon, that's what we're doing now. Cool.
Yeah, I mean, based on the insane crap that we saw in the first, Odium changing hands twice, and stuff like that. I guess it didn't change hands, but
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of vessels moving around. I
big
still think
like
this-
Cosmere movements.
Yeah, I do still think this is not a novel opinion. I think we're gonna get some Ashen stuff. Like we're gonna get some Ashen stuff in the
Mhm.
back
Yeah.
half.
Mhm.
Like he's doing so much multiplanetary stuff now that the
Mhm.
natural step is we're gonna go to a different planet finally. And
Yep.
and there's
Well,
really only
it's
so
just-
many planets they can do. Well, I guess now that's not actually true now, because I always forget that now everyone's free, kind of. But they got the time. They're not actually free though, because they got the time bubble. That's what always gets
They're
me.
free
Is I'm
for
like,
Well, the time bubble could be ending by book 6 starting, maybe.
Yeah, it's mostly going to be over.
That's
by then,
true.
Surely.
that's true. That's a good point. That's a good point.
It's also
Right.
like in the first half, there's like the 3 rounds, and we go to all 3 by the end of it. And I feel like the back half, there's the 3 planets, and we're going to all 3 by the end of it. It's sort of the same thing to me, I
We
think.
must go to every moon and walk on every moon, including the ruins of the 4th moon, which has something to do with something, presumably.
we've
That's
already-
probably
walking
one
on
of the
the
weird
ruins of
stuff.
the
Walked
Fourth
there,
moon.
yeah.
Yeah, that's the Shattered. They've been walking on it for years and years, apparently.
Maybe we just need to remake the 4th moon, and that's the prerequisite to remaking Aiden Alcium. Did you think about that?
No, I
We
didn't.
got the old
I didn't
gods
think
too.
Yeah, okay.
We got the old gods.
The reminder of the 4th moon truly just made me go, yeah, no, there's no way I'm going to predict what he does. I was like, surely I can find something.
It's
And I was like,
true.
no,
Anyone
I'm
can
not
guess.
give up.
Sure, yeah, 4th moon, yeah, uh-huh.
I want to hear your guess. What's your guess for 4th moon?
I can't even possibly fathom what the hell that is all about.
If I was gonna say something, I would say Fourth Moon is a Valor thing, and Valor's gonna be heavily involved in this. If they associate shards with moons for whatever stupid reason they do, there's a fourth moon. There's going to be a fourth shard involved.
Yes, hell yeah.
Valor seems like the candidate.
I have no evidence that I can present of this, but I was thinking earlier when we were talking about the Stormlight back half prologues, the event could be Valor has come to town and is like, this is the first contact with Valor and Valor Knights. And that's where we get the Lesser Dragons. Easy. Nailed it.
I think
Dragon
I am all
versus
in.
Lancer.
Yeah, yes.
Ooh.
Hell yeah,
Yes.
that sounds amazing.
I think I am all in on, like, there is some remnant of Adenosium's memory on the planet somewhere.
Nice.
Oh, we sure can't trust Tanavast. But yeah, we need some Adenosium facts and things.
Yeah, that'll be book 5. Is they'll go into spiritual realm, and then we'll see Adenosium's memories, and we'll watch that slideshow instead, and that will
It
be
worked so well
satisfying book
last
10.
time. We're gonna try it again. Call back.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I
At
don't
first,
think
you
that's
don't succeed.
That brings me back to the whole thing with the wind and Hoid's flute, because I remember reading through that. I'm like, how does that even work with the echoes in the cavern like that? Because that's not how echoes work.
It's magic.
Do you remember when he was
Don't
doing
worry
the
about
Wander
it.
Sail story?
Like the original one? Like with
Yeah, when he was doing the
Galen?
Wander
On
Sail.
the planes.
Or
Like
in
Yeah,
the
but
Way
that's
of
magic.
Kings.
That's magic stuff. It's like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that's magic.
Yeah,
Are you-
no, that came up with the wind.
Gotcha.
With
So
the
you're
wind
saying
was
that when you
singing
were
it back.
reading it the first time, you were like, that doesn't make sense. That's not how echoes work. And now we
Sure.
know that it was.
Yeah.
It was
planned.
much. It was a little bit afterwards. Yeah, it was much further on. But yeah,
Sure.
I think we always just kind of attributed that to, Hoid's magical storytelling.
Yeah, it's the Hoid weird stuff. It's like, yeah, okay, there's weird stuff. That's fine. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It does make you wonder though if there is like somehow a fourth primal spread, maybe not one that was on Rashar at the time. If there's 4 moons, there's 4. If we're moving from a 3-centric numerology for some reason to a 4-centric numerology for some reason, there's questions to be asked. But
Killing me.
but we lost cultivation, so maybe we're back at 3. Like
Yeah.
But maybe she would be, I don't know. It's
like, when did the
fourth
yeah,
moon has always been
Noadon.
Unfathomable.
Noadon is interesting.
Yeah, no, is the fourth old god.
Noadon is the fourth moon.
Yeah.
Noadon is
and when he crashed the planet, Eric, that
When he abdicated from the sky.
abdicated the throne. Obviously.
There
I
you
want to
go.
talk about something else.
All right, David, hit us up with this next wob.
This next question comes from an imposter of some sort, someone going by the name Windrunner 67, where clearly in 2011 I claimed all Windrunner related
Yes,
number
of
titles.
course,
And
of
so I
course.
just don't really understand. I'm sure they'll reach out. We'll get it worked out. They'll know.
They're just following in your footsteps.
It's
After
true. It's true.
there was Windrunner 18 and 19, and we're now 50 past.
We're not 50 past. Yeah, now you make me feel old. All right, questioner. Where does the Investiture go when a person uses Investiture in the form of Stormlight from Honor or Allomancy from Preservation? Brandon. This is all paraphrased, by the way. It returns to the spiritual realm and is no longer associated with any shard. Questioner. What happens if I use Aeon Door to channel the door from Cell's cognitive realm? Brandon. That Investiture would return to the spiritual realm, not the cognitive realm. Questioner. So the amount of door in Cell's cognitive realm is slowly decreasing as people use it and it returns to the spiritual realm. Yes, it is being depleted as it is used and then returns to the spiritual realm rather than the cognitive realm. Questioner. Does this mean that Cell will begin to experience less time dilation over time as the mass amount of Investiture left behind by devotion and dominion being splintered is reduced? Brandon. Yes.
So we talked a bit about this last episode, and Evgeni, you were saying how Brandon has not been consistent on this in the past. So this is at least what he's currently thinking, right?
Yeah, at the very least, he's gone back and forth on the door thing.
Yeah.
I had forgotten that this where the Brandon said that when Investiture returns to the spiritual realm that had been associated with other shards, it loses that association. That feels weird.
That does feel weird to me. That's a big open question mark for me.
I feel like it definitely contradicts with like some very old WoBs, like when we used to ask about this when it came to Allomancy.
Yeah.
And he basically told us, okay, it went back to the shard. Like, I mean, it doesn't really matter because like I assume the shards are like brimming with new power all the time or whatever, you know, like they're drawing power from, I don't know.
Yeah, it's like buckets out of the ocean.
Yeah, but I don't know. That felt a little strange.
I guess, like, back in the good old days when we were worried about the regeneration problem.
Oh my God, we did call it that.
Yeah, I did. We did. Like, part of the thing was the Well of Ascension. And, like, obviously the Well of Ascension is still preservation stuff, right? And granted, the Well of Ascension is allowed to be weird, right? It's
a key to preservation's power. It is not preservation's power.
Well,
it is also preservation's power.
But it's not the entirety of preservation.
Sure.
Definitely not. Yeah.
So I just, I think it could be totally fine if Allomancy goes back to preservation. I feel like that could be fine. I don't know if that has long-term effects otherwise, or if this is something Brandon needs to go mechanically this way. I don't know. It does seem a little odd though.
I feel like we've learned like breaths when people die go back to a down. I feel like there's a lot about that too. You know, like I don't know. Like it just seems.
Yeah, I mean this could mark like a direction of, okay, Brandon has now decided that, you know, previously he thought that, you know, one way and now he thinks another way. It feels weird to me to extrapolate this to the extreme and go, well, does that mean we can just use up all the shards? And then all the investiture is back in the spiritual realm and the shards have access to like none of it except their own, like, you know, what's in their bodies or whatever. That, I don't know, that feels like a weird setup for the Cosmere.
For sure. Like he said before when he was talking about breaths, he's like, you don't really have to worry about like population on Nalthis getting so high that endowment gets weaker because it's like worry about running out of carbon, you know, to make new people on the earth, you know, because you're just like, okay, there's so much that it's not really a problem.
Sure.
You know, so I don't think we're heading towards a solution where, you know, the shards become depowered. I also don't feel like, unless they're extracting mass amounts of Door out of the cell's cognitive realm, that's really going to make a drop in the bucket either.
It is probably a ludicrous amount of power, right?
I guess I can accept that. But even then, it feels weird that we now have this investiture going back to the spiritual realm that is not associated with any shard. Like, that feels odd. It's WoBs all the way down, right? It's the idea of, well, all the investiture... The reason we know that all the investiture in the Cosmere was divvied up between the... or at least all of Aedenalzium's investiture was divided between the 16 shards is because of a WoB. And so, like... we can trace all of, you know, a lot of what we know about the grand workings of the Cosmere comes from WoBs. And so it's not necessarily a problem if WoBs change direction because none of it is technically in the books. Like we're peeking inside Brandon's like thought process. But it does feel weird to go, well, yeah, the 16 shards own like 98% of the shares of the Cosmere investiture. And then 2% are just kind of, they've reverted back to Aedenalzium, they reverted back to neutral or unaffiliated or whatever. And maybe that works better with the Aethers. Like maybe that's a cleaner way to...
That's sure.
Yeah, to explain why there is like...
things.
Yeah, so I don't want to dismiss that entirely, but it does seem to go against a lot of what we have been told before.
I don't think this necessarily has to be a permanent thing. Like, I can imagine a world where maybe it's like a cycle, like the cycle of water, where there's like a brief period of time where it sort of loses its association and then, you know, drifts back to the shard and regains it or something. I don't know. But
I would say that's still associated with the shard. It's just temporarily inaccessible.
Well, you know, I mean, like maybe it doesn't really matter because like that's what I was trying to get at with the Wellspring thing is like your preservation, you expend a lot of power, you're pushing a planet around, yada, yada. You're probably like that saps you in some way a little bit, I guess. And then, you know, then you will recover, you know, you kind of be back at your own power after a period of time. And maybe that's just because raw, undifferentiated spiritual realm stuff is gradually being, you know, drawn into your nexus or whatever. Like, I don't know, you're getting into some really like how do the shards work type questions there.
Yep, we sure are.
I agree. I could really see this as, I forgot someone said earlier, I could see this as just a product of the Cosmere developing and saying, like, actually, we need this to work because of XYZ plot point later on.
Yeah, this is one where I'm like, that seems kind of weird. I'll wait till it's a plot point and then worry about it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And a lot of those old WoBs were in an era before we knew there could be Investiture that wasn't associated with a shard. You know, like I don't think Brandon even necessarily had that idea yet, you know? And so I could see him building that in some way as it comes together.
I mean, to me, there's kind of an open question, like, what do you mean by unassociated investiture? Because, like, honor was drawn to wind, right? Is wind Adenalcium stuff? Is it honor stuff? I feel like it's kind of not exactly either of them, but there's still like a capital C connection with them, right? And so there's room for these things to be fuzzy, right?
Yeah, because it's kind of the principle of if honor is like the shard of, and bear with me for a second, but like the shard of carbon, right?
Sure.
Or maybe carbon is a bad example, but like the shard of this star or whatever, and all of the carbon inside the wind came from that star. But like it's always been, or not, but like for a long time, it's been like this is the composition of this sprint. And so like, yes, technically it came from there.
Sure.
I might not be following that.
No, I went for one metaphor and then changed directions.
Yeah,
and then
face planted quickly.
A little bit, yeah.
This came up, I think, in one of the dragon shardcasts too. I want to say, where does the investiture come from for dragons?
Well,
sure.
When plugged into
and I feel like
Sure.
that requires kind of this other pool of investiture that is other, I guess.
And there's also like the cognitive realm is made up of investiture, right? You know, and like what is that technically made of in some sense? I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, and you know, we learned a lot of what we saw in the visions, and Wind in Truth was honor's power in the spiritual realm specifically. So presumably the substance of the spiritual realm is generally other than that. Otherwise, it wouldn't really be noteworthy that it was honor's power that we were kind of seeing most of those visions within. You know, I don't think that the spiritual realm is divvied up into 16 regions, whatever that means in the spiritual realm.
But like the other spiritual realm stuff could just be like this. I don't agree. I agree that there are not specific shard regions necessarily, or like unless a shard specifically does a thing, right? I think that's possible, but. Like that other investiture could just be like, yeah, it's a mixture of a bunch of stuff. It's like, yeah, okay, that's fine. Who cares?
Well,
right.
But a mixture of a bunch of stuff could be an ultimate investiture. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of what that is now. Maybe that it's now that the 16 shards exist, is that it's a sea of it as opposed to a specific. Brand.
Part of me, like I keep trying to go back to, okay, can I make this work with like a periodic table in some capacity? Like if we had like a very limited periodic table of the elements, that's like 16 elements, and then obviously each shard is one element, and then can the entire universe be mapped to here is a planet that is it has these elements, and that you can point to each one of the shards and map them that way? Or is there other stuff, or is other stuff just like a mixture of the 16?
I take the shattering very literally mentally, or like the metaphor very literally mentally, in terms of, I imagine if you take a plate and you drop it, right, and it breaks into 16 pieces. But you can have other plates, you can have cups, you can have different things. It's just if you take one plate and you smash it, you get 16 pieces.
In your mind, before the shattering, there was not the entire Cosmere was Adenalcium.
And we have the Aethers, I think.
And we do have the Aethers, yeah, that's true, yeah. And so you can make
a bowl, obviously.
The Aether bowl. And so you can make an argument that even pre-shattering, like yes, you you divvied up the power of God or a god, as it were. But that was not the entirety of the Cosmere. So like there's like
Exactly.
neutral stuff.
Yeah, you have the dragons existed from before, and I mean they could have used Adelnosium's power
They could have
too.
been plugged in Ada, yeah.
But you know, you have the Aethers.
I mean, yeah, certainly the dragons still get the same similar stuff pre and post shattering, right? Like they seem to, like maybe there's probably was some effect on them, but like we don't know.
We'll find out 2049, folks.
Stay tuned.
Otherwise, it feels like it's
Um,
going into too much to the primes, to like Dragonsteel Prime, which is just not
Yeah, that's not useful.
applicable as much anymore. So
I think about this a little bit differently, and David, you can correct me. As in terms of like the water cycle metaphor I'm about to use, but like if you have an area of ocean, right, and with the weather cycles, there's periodic times when water evaporates from the ocean and then rains back down on it. Like, is the rain part of the ocean, even if it's always going to and from it? You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of how I'm thinking about it. Like, the rain isn't necessarily associated with or part of the ocean in terms of how we view water and weather patterns, but it's always leaving the ocean and coming back to it in the form of rain.
I think that'd be a great metaphor, Grace, because you can get into the stable isotopes, and you can pick out specific deuterium, oxygen 18. You know, maybe that's our shards. But no, I think that makes sense to me, and I kind of think, in response to your question, Argent, that in my mind, I don't think there's a neutral Investiture. I think that it's like a slurry, and you can take Dark Investiture and you can strip it up in 10 or whatever you can do to that. That's kind of a unique thing, but generally, spiritual realm, it's a mixture of all 16, unless there's some reason this region is not that way. And something like the wind, in my mind, is not dissimilar to Hachi, in that if Honor had never come to Rashar, but had been doing the autonomy mind searching thing, would have been like, oh, here's a little well of power that's particularly honorary that I could associate myself with if I wanted to. But instead came there and was just more directly involved.
So we know that shards reside primarily in the spiritual realm. That's where their power is.
Mm-hmm. If all's going well, yeah.
The devotion and dominion notwithstanding, right? So what does it mean for? Let's take preservation. Like the book of preservation's power is in the spiritual realm.
Sure.
And the vessel of preservation has access to some of it, all of it, unclear.
Not all of it, but definitely not all of it. The
Sure.
Not
around
like
the nexus,
literally all
the
of it
main,
across all the
Yeah.
Cosmere. No.
Yeah,
absolutely not.
Sure. And that's in the spiritual realm. And then an Allomancer burns a bunch of that investiture. And so it siphons from the spiritual to the physical, and then it has like a steel pushing effect or whatever, and then it goes back to the spiritual. It is now, it has disconnected from preservation. Like
that's why I don't agree with this WoB, because I'm just like, no, I don't think so.
Like
like that's where the slushy metaphor gets like.
That's why I think it has to still be associated with preservation, right? Like it's possible
Or it
that
has to
this
be
is
neutral.
different, but I feel like Brandon typically does not like things where the magic just ends, Like, I think he, like, just story-wise, very meta-wise, surely he wants the powers to still exist even after the Cosmere is done. Like, maybe there's probably crazy stuff that's going to happen that could change things.
I guess.
And
I don't know.
I'm a little weirded by the idea that, yeah, you could theoretically use allomancy enough to, like, actually diminish the shard in a meaningful way. Like, that seems weird to me. Like, why would a shard do an end positive magic system if like, maybe it's just so inconsequential, but, like, the amount of mines that preservation made was consequential, right? So I could see, like, over millions of years of allomancy usage, like, would preservation be actually notably diminished from ruin? maybe that's the way Brandon wants to do it. And so that's perfectly fine. This just definitely has implications. And so I'm interested to see how that all works out in the end.
I think that, Eric, obviously the cosmology of the Cosmere is not stable enough to be conducive for millions of years of human survival on these planets. All of the moons will crash into each other by then.
Well,
so I'm messing around.
But I'm sure there's some people somewhere, and like Scadrial seems to be in a safe orbit. If you're on Roshar with their gas giants and moons, yeah, you're screwed. But yeah.
Yeah, I think honestly more what I agree with in this is, to me it makes sense that you could diminish the amount of power in the cognitive realm because it's caught in an unnatural position. Like we're talking about the door. And so I think that in my mind, with these shards splintered, they're not going to be acting like a regular shard is, where power is constantly returning to the nexus of the shard, to the vessel. There's no vessel. There's no core to the power anymore. It's been broken. And so it's basically caught in this weird local low, thermodynamically or whatever. And we're able to spoon it out and drop it into the spiritual realm, but it's not going to go back to the cognitive realm because it's got no real tie there. It was forced there unnaturally.
Sure. Yeah, I just think that stuff would still be devotion and dominion flavored.
100%. I think he's wrong about it. I would, if it was me, I would be like, are you sure? If I've been asking this, so,
And with this, I did have the other thought, like, okay, well, where does the unkeyed door go when it's used? So there's definitely a lot of implications here.
Obviously, it goes to the
there
lake.
Was, I thought there was a relevant WoB, and I just found it too.
Okay.
And interestingly, comes from December of 2025 stream.
Oh, really?
Okay, so
Did we
that's
skip that one?
only a few months prior to this.
From VNN, a while ago you told us that all Investiture in the Cosmere was assigned to a shard at the Shattering, and that Investiture purified of shardic alignment was impossible. Since then, we've seen Dawn Shards, Aethers, the old magic gods on Roshar, and Purified Door. Are these things still aligned to shards? Have you changed how this works?
Yeah.
And Brandon says, I've tweaked it a little bit. I still imagine it's all still aligned to a shard, but more in its history. And I've begun letting it be wiped a little bit more and things like that. I do think, for instance, the old gods were shardic aligned when they kind of predate the Shattering, but kind of not. When you read Wind and Truth, you can kind of figure that out. I'm letting it be wiped of intent for all intents and purposes, acting like it is completely wiped, but that's not 100% possible. All Investiture came from Adel Nauseam, Asterix, the Aethers claim they didn't, and therefore all Investiture still came from Adel Nauseam. Even if you file off the serial numbers or something, that's still the thing. You just don't recognize it. That's where I am right now on this. It's a good question. I could change.
Mm-hmm. And maybe that's the answer, is that this C is like low intensity intent investiture. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like you could pick a piece out and be like, that's actually technically preservation.
That came from preservation originally.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But it's not currently shaped like
or directly under his control, unless he were to reach out and do the autonomy thing and be like, oh, that's mine. Maybe that's how you call it to you. Or something like that.
Sure.
I have to imagine that, like, unless it's something like the Aethers that are probably really old and so entrenched in their own, like, identity, it's trivial for a shard to be like, I'm taking this low intensity investiture and just injecting my rhythm into it and making it mine. Like,
sure.
Mm-hmm. Or reminding it of its rhythm. Because I do think that, like, if you were Honor, you tried to call up some of cultivation stuff, you'd get a hybrid. If it still remembers on some level that it was cultivations.
It reminds me, this is a very niche metaphor or very niche comparison here. But corn, I don't know if you guys have heard C4 versus C3 plants. It has to do with how the carbon works. But corn is C4. Essentially, though, you can tell by looking at the molecular structure whether something came from corn versus something else.
Oh,
and that's
like
kind of similar.
Like we're talking like the chemical bonds, like that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's been a very long time since I've read this, so I don't remember it amazingly. But it's the idea of you can look at it at a molecular level and see that it's C4.
Sure, and so this is like you can look at the investiture on some spiritual level and see it. Yeah.
I thought you were going to say for a second, you guys might have heard of corn. I was like, once or twice.
I have heard of corn. Lot of open questions.
Interesting.
But still things are associated to others. So this is,
I think asterisk on this question,
Yeah.
and this is also paraphrased. So like, there's enough iffiness with this one and enough contradictions with previous WoBs that I want to file this as a future reference and not like
I'm not going to worry
a
about it.
WoB that I'll come back to. Yeah.
But Dalinar has an honor blade. Remember that. That was told to us. What was that confusion? I don't know what it was.
I was like, where were you going with this?
Yeah.
Oathbringer's an honor blade? Yeah. No. Every now and then he's just wrong.
It is.
That's true.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is true. And also, I do just want to say for the listener, I don't think we know at all that, like, we've been talking during this that shards would like get their power back in this way. We don't know how that interfaces with if the power is not associated with the shard. That's just a supposition.
No.
Right. Just so we're clear.
Yeah, we
I wanna
can go
toss
back
in.
into metals return to Scadrial, Eric. How do the metals return to Scadrial? In the same way the power returns to the
True.
shards. We know that they do.
True.
I'd like to toss in a quick little caveat too that I think
Sure.
if this could happen in any magic system, it'd be Aeondor.
What do you mean?
If what,
More
if what
context.
could happen
With,
specifically?
What
I'm
happened?
sorry, using it depleting. So the piece about if Cell would experience less time dilation over time as the massive amount of investiture left by devotion and dominion is reduced.
Sure.
I think
Yeah.
it can happen in any system, it'd be Aeondor.
I agree. I think the amount of
Sure.
power in the door has diminished over the years.
I buy that. Assuming that it does go back to the spiritual. But I think I'm coming to, I think it goes back to the spiritual, and because the cognitive is not the natural place where that power wells. Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Maybe he's looking for a era 4 fossil fuel crisis when the door is being depleted and our spaceships are running out of fuel and it becomes really expensive.
Yeah,
Sure.
and the Irie are getting more intent on stealing a shard from somewhere else to replenish it. Like they're
Yes.
just
Now that sounds like fun. I can see that.
That's why they were in Secret History.
Oh yeah. That was a great plot. That was still one of my favorite things, was to imagine, like, such a bold thing is to be like, we're gonna go to a different planet, we're gonna yoink their shard, we're gonna bring it back.
We know
Oh,
that
that's-
God is about to die. We want that.
Yeah, vultures.
All right, Evgeni, let's talk about this next one.
Something much lighter. Mac
Light.
reports that in Wind and Truth, when we see Iyato take them to Shadesmar, I guess that's talking about like in early on when she escapes with Mraze and stuff. The light is described as being tinged black violet. Can we take that as confirmation that she's using Voidlight to Surgebind? And Karen, not Brandon, Karen
Walk.
says yes.
Word of Karen.
Word
Okay.
of Karen.
If she'd said no, I would have been like, okay, what the hell, Karen?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I
other
think-
observation.
Mhm.
I still am surprised how good the Ghostbloods were with their powers so quickly. You
Yeah,
know, like
you know.
It's I think it's unbelievable, but
there's like a part of me where I'm just like, okay, maybe they've got access to more historical knowledge or more like a better understanding of what these should be able to do than Yasna, so they're able to maybe more quickly. And like also they've had Yasna be working on it for a while. They've had spies, like, so they're able to be like, okay, we can go physical to cognitive. Yasna's done that, possible, but it is like I'm like okay, Yasna, you're like, yeah, I actually figured this out immediately, or very close to immediately.
yeah, it literally feels like Iyato picked it up in like 2 days.
Busy 2
Yeah.
days. What can I say?
Busy 2 days. Well, it was a busy 10 days ultimately.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
She does need to be formless pretty quick,
it's-
though.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot about Formless. I got to read this book another time.
yeah. There's a lot of
That's
this.
what it is. But yeah, so
Maybe audio.
she's bonded to a corrupted Inkspren, and that seems to enable her to use Voidlight. I think that's not surprising and also consistent with what we've seen, right? And it feels like all of the examples that I'm about to give are unique in some way, but like we see Venli be able to
Mhm.
take in both lights, and yeah, Venli's weird for reasons.
Yeah.
We haven't seen Renarin make use of Voidlight, but we've long speculated that he would be able to. So I think this is.
I think
this
he
is
might
as
be
good as it comes.
hesitant. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
if you were
shockingly.
Renarin and you had a bunch of Stormlight and you had a little bit of Voidlight, you'd be like, yeah, I don't want to. Let's not knock on that door. Even if you try it, you're like, I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, don't worry, I'm using Voidlight, guys. It's cool.
I imagine Renarin can, like, this definitely strengthens that idea. That makes him very useful. Back 5, right? Any enlightened Radiant makes them very super, super useful because they can just get Voidlight and use that.
Will Retribution answer their prayers? I mean,
Well,
they probably
I
capture
don't know how
spheres
that
as well.
part
Yeah,
works,
we'll see
but-
how Brandon does that.
You
Lord
bring
only
a
knows.
tuning fork to get the Warlight out of the gem, you know, and it's easy peasy. Like, what's
Yeah,
what's
but
the
then you got
problem?
to split it.
There you go.
Will they start calling it? Will they still call it Warlight, or will they call it Retribution Light? It's got to
I
be
mean,
Warlight.
I think they'll
Retribution
call
Light
it
is
Voidlight.
too long.
No way. This is.
They'll call it Voidlight.
We might get like.
They're gonna call it Voidlight.
There's gonna be one line somewhere that's like, this should technically be called Retribution Light, but you know.
But yeah, that is
remember
Evgeni, that's
how
exactly what's gonna happen. That's exactly what's gonna happen.
It's what happened in the Lost Metal.
No. It's Stormlight and Voidlight. It's not Honor Light and Odium Light.
Yeah,
It's
it doesn't
fine.
need to be called
Warlight's
Retribution
fine.
Light. What are you talking? Yeah, no, that's fine.
Do we feel like okay?
It just doesn't.
This will be. I won't get us to a full 20-minute tangent, Eric.
Okay.
Do the vibes of Warlight match the vibes of Retribution, or no?
Well,
Because
it's
to me,
named
I
after
don't
the
know.
rhythm of war.
He
So
wants to commit war. He wants to take his armies to war with the Cosmere.
But it's like, but there's like the peaceful aspect of it too, like the soldier who knows when to lay his spear down. Like Kaladin feels that as well. You know, like it's not fully Retribution. You know, I think that maybe that was Kaladin.
Well,
maybe, I don't know. But
regardless-
there's two sides.
regardless, it's going to be called Voidlight Archive. I know I do not know that for sure. I think it will, and I also hope so. And so they're probably just going to rebrand Warlight and just call it Voidlight. I'll be totally honest.
Yeah.
Also, I think with Renarin, it wouldn't matter anyway because he's connected to both of them. So he could probably use Warlight just fine. It doesn't matter. It's fine.
Can I do one more small tangent?
Yes.
Which is okay, because remind me, because Win in Truth broke me, so there's things I don't remember about it.
Okay.
Did Ayatil? She's using transportation here.
Yeah.
Correct. To get into the cognitive realm. She later is using what I assume is light weaving to pretend to be formless. Yeah. Yeah. Or something.
Yes. Correct.
Yeah.
That is interesting to me, in light of Renarin, who has not managed to figure out the normal version of his surge. Which, I mean, maybe he's just as bad at it. Like we've seen Shallan be very bad at one of her surges. But I just wanted to make sure that I was thinking about that correctly.
I think that's all true. I think there's room for to be Renarin, be super special weird, sure. Or different enlightened orders. It works a little different. You know.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah. Just kind of thinking about it. But yeah. Huh.
It's not just a general.
I suspect he can figure it out eventually.
Yeah, or maybe it won't be as good, or like I don't know, you know, like maybe that's his resonance. Technically, is
certainly if you play an enlightened Truth Watcher in the Cosmere RPG, you can use both, and you get a different talent tree that's for the enlightened Truth Watcher. So I'm just saying, doesn't mean that
citation to the Stormlight Handbook, not the Stormlight,
Companion Guide,
of
Pocket
course.
Companion.
Yes. So not that I think we should be taking talents and game mechanics to literally there, but
for sure.
I think it's at least theoretically possible for them to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Grace,
why don't you read this next question from a very intelligent person?
Yes, this next question was asked by me, actually.
Aha!
We know that some Ardents are permitted to marry other Ardents. What happens to the children of those unions socially, and how are they raised? Brandon, they're probably going to enter into a high level of the non, which is the peasant class, so they'll probably be like a 1 or a 2, would be my guess. I haven't given it a deep thought, but it's probably gonna enter into that almost landed gentry sort of non, but they wouldn't have land.
So new strategy, if you're a social climber, is become an ardent, get married. You can go 9th Dan, to first or second if you become an
Well,
Argent.
no, that's
Your
your
children.
children.
But no, but like
fast
if you're talking about lineage, if you're min-maxing this, Argent,
But
you're like, yeah, I could get my kids out of 10th non, almost slavery, to first to second by becoming an Ardent. That's a lots of people go through much worse than becoming a priest for a few years, where you can do whatever you want and not conform to their stupid gender roles,
and you can leave
have
the
children.
Argent.
Yeah, oh my, that's a great point.
Well, you
I don't
probably
know.
go back to your original.
You might, but will your children maintain?
Yeah,
it?
but your children
that's the
are
follow-up.
fine.
Yeah,
Well-
as long as they're born, you're like, now I'm leaving the Ardentia back to 10, but I'm
Hmm.
living with my second non-son.
I feel like there might be some social consequences if you min-max this and the parents who
I
are
feel like
Ardents immediately
there-
divorced and left. I feel like there might be
I
some
feel like
consequences for
there-
the kids, but hey.
there might be some barriers to entry for 10th non-people to get into the Ardentia in the first place.
Caste system.
Where
if
it's
you-
like, this is like a third or fourth non-person might be able to do this, but
That's an excellent point, Grace. If you have no skills to train people on, it's probably a little bit harder to be like, don't worry, I will train you in sword mastery or farming. I don't know any of those things, but don't worry.
Yeah.
I
I
could
don't
see
know.
it going as like a motivator to become part of the Ardentia too, though.
Yeah,
Right? Is
yeah.
if you have this motivation that your kids are going to be better off, then you're
Yeah,
much
Yeah.
more likely to give
Honestly,
yourself to
yeah.
this life of service.
join our mega church.
Build this into your backstory, folks, playing the Stormlight RPG. This is an interesting little twist you could put into it.
Steven, this was cut out of our canon. But my intro to this question was, I am basing this off of a idea that I want for a Stormlight RPG character. This was asked
Yeah.
for Stormlight RPG character backstory reasons.
And
I
it's-
love
and
that.
it's-
That's great.
And not only that, Grace, it is for a game that I would run when I have time to create all of the things, which we'll get there. But the idea is
Any
very
day now.
cool. The idea
Did
is
you want
very
to play the child or the parent, Grace?
Yes, the child. I
Okay.
think my original pitch was like a light eyes child, but which this doesn't really answer, but I can do something similar probably. But yes, that was the original idea. Was like the child of ardent parents.
Can you imagine if they're like, he's like, yeah, it applies for Dawn too, and you just immediately ascend to High Prince Son status, and they're like, sorry,
I think you could
that's just what we do.
I think you would do something similar and to be like, you know, the level below whatever nobles are or whatever.
Yeah, it might be like a third or a fourth Dawn. But even that might be kind of high, though. Honestly, I feel like it can't be quite.
I
Maybe
mean,
6 or 7.
Adolin is like third, right? 'Cause
No, isn't
it's
Adolin
king.
second?
Adolin has to be
Well,
second.
he became second.
Well,
but
he's
like,
the heir. He's the heir of
Cool.
a High Prince, which is second Dawn. So he's himself second Dawn. Renarin would be third, I believe.
Oh, Renarin is what I'm thinking. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
I could be incorrect.
It's
On
like-
that was my understanding of it.
No, I think this is
It's like
Brandon
whatever,
doesn't
it's
know.
like landed gentry without the land, so it'd be like Navani pre-marriage to Gathalar, I think. Would be like a
I think
good
you're-
comparison.
I think you're right, which I think does kind of put you in like 6 to 8 because there are like
6 to 8,
landless
yeah.
who are like unattended, who are
merchant
like
class.
yeah, not the workers, not Kaladin's squad,
Not a
and Kolnar.
tanner.
Not a tenor, bastard.
Not a tenor.
But
Not a Tanner either.
or a tanner. It was pretty fun. It's a good idea for a character. It's an interesting kind of
Oh, yeah,
social
yeah.
situation to be in.
Yeah. No, it is fun to like push the boundaries of the world building and see what lies in there.
Yeah. And I think that's, I mean, I know why the RPG doesn't have necessarily more details like that because it has to run through continuity, right? But these are the sorts of things that are fun to do in RPG characters where it's just like, yeah, this is what I'm doing, you know?
Yeah. That's the benefit of being your story. You don't have to ask Brandon. You're just like, this
That's
is what
true.
we're doing.
Just true. You don't
Yeah.
have to care. My DM for Cosmere RPG sometimes looks at me and is like, am I getting this right? I'm like, you can literally do whatever. Like, it's fine. I'm not offended in the purpose of the game. I don't care.
Yeah, I know. I always, anytime I've talked about doing some of that with some of my friends. I'm always like, if we eventually do a Cosmere RPG, like, I'm going to just shut up. Like, don't worry about it.
Yeah. Except the rules. I will. If I'm gonna run, I need to know the rules really well, and so I do argue about the rules to make sure I understand them correctly. Cause
Certainly.
I got him last time. Bonnie, why don't we do this last one here?
All right, and this is actually one of mine.
Hey,
We see we see Janat and we see Cryptics in reflected light. So what's going on there? And Brandon says, Rappo. Yeah, Rappo. You do that, don't you? And other things sometimes too. So this is a fun story that came from Jess and I actually talking about the reflection. Oh, did you not know that?
I probably knew this at some point.
Yeah,
White
so
floor.
we were chatting about the reflection, and I forget who was talking about which one. One of us was talking about Janat, one of us was talking about Cryptics. And then at some point we realized, oh, we're talking about the same thing.
Yeah.
And so that was, yeah. And so it was really fun. It's just cool to theorize on it.
I don't think we have any
Definitely.
answers to this. Like, it's just like Shazmar stuff, I guess.
I think the other, when he says like, and other things, he says something like that, right? Like other things times two. I feel like what he's calling out there is the reverse shadows.
Yeah,
like that's the other kind of light-based Shadesmar connection that we see, where sometimes Axes, sometimes Yasna when she's when she's seeing.
I completely, even though this lob was read to me, I was like, yeah, this is talking about the shadow thing, but this is absolutely not talking about the shadow thing at all.
No, it's not the shadow thing.
Even though this is what was in my brain.
Appearing in mirrors.
Yes.
But it's like a trick. It's like a trick of light thing. You're seeing beyond the realm. You know, some characteristics of Shadesmar slipping through into the physical realm because you're drawing near. In my mind. Yeah.
Janat is also extra weird because she's kind of stuck between the realms.
That's true.
Whatever that means.
Whatever that means. Whatever. We're not touching that.
Is that unique to her? Is that unique to Allspren? Is that unique to the Unmade?
It sure seemed pretty unique to her.
It does. Yeah, that's how she presents it. I would not be surprised if it's possible for Allspren to be, because the language used is very often about like Spren being pulled between realms, and so there's the possibility of like you pull the Spren like halfway through or something like that.
But okay, and here's an alternative. Maybe it's something to do with corrupted Spren specifically, because I feel like we were presented with the with Renar and Spren and the Spren of the Ghostbloods as being uniquely capable of navigating the spiritual realm as well, which I don't think is the case with other more common Spren.
But we have like Elokar seeing Cryptics in the mirrors.
Oh, for sure. It's just more that I'm wondering if somehow if Unmade Spren are somehow between realms in a similar way that the Unmade are between realms.
Sure.
Because it seems like they have some and Syanat kind of pops into stuff, as I recall, in Wind and Truth pretty smoothly.
Yeah.
Sure. So I wonder if Unmade Spren are particularly good, are caught between realms. And it is a more common thing. And Syanat's maybe conscious, unlike a lot of the other Unmade, but maybe not as unique.
I can buy that.
But yeah, I still don't really know if there's anything necessarily mechanically here other than it is cool and feels mystical. Both this and the reverse shadows.
Which is fun in its own benefit.
It absolutely is fun. Yeah. It absolutely is.
I definitely like the reflected light was the piece of it, is that it seems like it's in not just necessarily reflections, but it's not an answer that is in here or anything. But really kind of picking at, is this something to do with reflected light when we talk about things like Stormlight, etc.
There's a WoB that I don't want to go find out, but it talks about like taking photos of Spren. Like whether you can do that.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Interesting. I don't know if I've seen that one.
Okay, well now I gotta go find it.
I think Spren plus photo should do it. That feels like it's pretty.
The thing that my mind just goes to, and this is more thematic than probably mechanical, but the idea of like when you look in a mirror, you're seeing yourself like reflected from how other people see you, and the idea of Shadesmar being like an inverse of the physical realm.
I did find it, Argent, if you didn't already.
I did not already, so you can take it.
Yeah.
Bam. Put it in the chat. Read it. Or whoever was remembering that, read it.
Oh, it's from Kirk. Wow, 2013. I remember Kirk.
Oh my God, good old Kirk.
Kirkistan.
Of time bubble fame.
Time bubble fame.
Oh my God.
No one remembers. We remember.
But he asked, could Syl or any other type of Spren be seen in a photograph? And mind you, this is 2013, so.
Pre-Words
says,
of
excellent
Radiance, which is
question.
wild.
It's true. A full year before that.
Crazy.
Excellent question, and I like the way you phrase it. Let's give it a little time before I get into specifics. Okay, so that's a raffle. Great.
So that's not good. I'm glad we spent time on this.
I said I found it. I didn't say it was helpful.
I mean, you know.
Yeah. I mean, we have things like Kaladin does feel some weight when like he's like holding Syl. Now, you can really get into it and look at, is it really like her like being a little bit physical and like weighing him down, or is she like exerting like a pushing force and she's not really there? Like when she holds a quill, is she physically holding the quill, or is she like levitating the quill? And
is there a difference between that and exert? You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day,
exerting
like,
a force.
and she's exerting. I'm exerting a force when I hold a quill. You know,
that's you're right. Yeah.
Surely you can take a photo of Spren in the physical realm. I didn't think that was the question. I thought the question was like, if you take a photo, can you also use that to get like Spren in the cognitive realm the same way mirrors do? I don't think you take. I think the answer should just be yes. Like I don't think that's a question. Like if there's a Spren in the physical realm,
in my mind what it's getting at is, are you seeing something that exists in the physical realm, or are you seeing into the cognitive realm a little bit when you see a Spren? And like, and something that is purely capturing physical light, whatever that is, you know, like, is it, you know, are those photons hitting a receptor and creating an image, or are your eyes seeing something in a different realm that physically might not be there on a camera? You know, which
I guess not even eyes, right? You can't see into a different realm.
Your camera. Yeah,
you can magically perceive
cognitive
a different realm, and
sure.
Well, we can also see Rock and Cord can see Spren, where not everyone can always see them.
I think that's
a good point, because it's not it's person specific, not like, you know, a broad phenomenon.
I think the Spren has to be like, yes, I'm revealing myself, right? But then I think you could take a photo, right?
Yeah, I agree with that.
I think I would come down on no. I don't think you can see them. Actually,
I would go with no.
Wild. That's wild.
I'm gonna go with no.
Well, maybe if they're fully physical, maybe you could see Notum.
I don't know. I feel like this is just like there's some like perception stuff. Like if you can see them with your eyes, if you can see them in a mirror, you can see them with a camera. Like
yeah. I do feel like they jump into the physical a little bit.
I think they have to be in the physical a bit. I think
there's also like you can cut them.
Sure. I think just the category of like kind of primarily beings made of investiture, I don't think I could categorically say no, they would not appear on cameras. Like I think that's a bridge too far. Like I think if you can take a picture of a shade, that's fine. And like I don't think there's that much of a difference with that in the Spren. I don't know.
How about I'll rephrase is, I don't think everything you see necessarily would appear in a photo, Spren related. But I guess I will give you, they're navigating the physical realm. They're primarily present in the physical realm. You know, it's not like they're dodging Shadesmar obstacles. Like she's flying around the chasms, not doing Shadesmar stuff. And when Argent was talking about the weight that Kaladin feels from Syl, that reminds me very much of the light weavings that have some level of physical mass that we have seen.
Sure.
Varying between Oathbringer, Battle of Thaylen City, where it seems like maybe a little more illusory, to I'm sorry, Thaylen Fields, not Thaylen City, my apologies. To Radiant, like literally stabbing someone, I believe, at one point. So there's a little bit of a variety there.
That was very cool.
Yeah.
Although Radiant, that happens in Wind and Truth, and that's substantiation.
Shallan's weird. It's fine. It's just it is a possible thing that can happen.
She's got 2 bonds. She's got 2 bonds, Evgeni. You can always just say 2 bonds.
It's fine. Yeah. Oh, that didn't really have much to do with the question, but it is an interesting idea to think about with Spren. But yeah, you are right. Eric. I don't think everything. Like if you take a camera to the cognitive realm, does that work? Like I would be curious about that. You know.
I don't even know. What is the cognitive realm, Eric?
Yeah, I mean, it has air, so it's like, what does that even, like, sure, there's probably
I think it
photons.
Has to work.
It has to work.
It has to work. Like, the dynamic has cameras.
Yeah, I guess that's true, huh?
An excellent point.
That's true. I like that.
That's a very strong point here. Yeah, okay, great, cool.
You
We
could
have
maybe
cameras,
make
we
a
have-
claim that
We've resolved that one.
Nailed
they
it.
use
We
like
did it.
they use like Shadesmar cameras when they're Shadesmar, and they use physical cameras when they're. But like, no, it's just
No, they
everything
don't. No,
just
they
gets
don't.
translated. It's gotta be,
Raymond's
otherwise
not
it's
gonna
madness.
Do that. Yeah, no, I think you're right on that. I do forget that we have the occasional like future Cosmere technology because I'm still in Way of Kings time. And then I'm like, oh yeah, we have like 2 or 3 books that do give us valid information about what the future
Clocks
looks
are
like.
new technology.
Whoa,
Yeah,
clocks.
they just figured out clocks. Okay.
Clocks.
Uh,
Oh no. Wow. Cool. Well, we did a bunch of WoBs. And we are gonna still have a bit more WoBs to do. But I don't know
I
if
think
that's
it's
gonna
one
be the
more
next
episode.
episode. I might want. I don't know. What
Wind-
if the other
Wind and
episode
Truth
is a little too
epigraphs.
short?
Wind and Truth epigraphs, Eric.
Oh yeah, no,
obviously.
I can come up with something. That's fine. But that's an August
Yeah.
problem. So it's not my problem right now.
Oh man.
I don't know
Oh.
how to talk about anything that's not WoBs anymore.
It is true. Bonnie started today. It's like, are we doing WoBs or doing another thing? I'm like, oh, I didn't do any prep for another thing. Not even a little bit. Not even remotely. All right. So
We'll do a Stormlight pocket edition.
Stormlight Pocket Companion.
I'll get that doc ready right now. Don't worry.
With
Pocket
lore
Companion
from
episode.
Way of Kings and Words of Radiance, that is all stuff we already know. That's a
I
hope we've
summary
created-
for-
I hope we've created at least 4 to 5 collectors who didn't know that existed, but are now desperately
I
searching.
mean, at least
for,
the good old Way of Kings notebook here.
that. I don't believe that's real. Someone
I
put
don't
it
know
in
what
the
to tell
comments.
ya.
I don't think that's real. I think I don't know what that is, Eric, but I just don't believe in it.
I don't know. Is this
Yeah.
from the
Are you
cognitive
sure?
realm
Are
and
you
we're
sure?
just seeing a weird reflection in the camera? I don't know. Is it here? Is it
All I
not?
see is a dragon eye. I still can only
Sure,
barely see
sure.
that helmet.
And now it's gone. Woo.
Magic.
All right, let's get on over to Zach Cosmere character.
This character is from Roshar.
Menace. Tien.
Tom.
Braze.
Hoid in drag on a horse.
It's time for Who's That Cosmere Character?
All right, listeners, you know what time it is. You send an email to WTCC@17thstar.com. I read each clue loud, and after each one, our panelists have the chance to guess who's that Cosmere character. Let's begin. So this first one was sent in by Twinstorm, also known as Number One Elfan. Fight me. Okay. Who was-
Fight me.
No.
Whoa. Coming on strong hosting this one, Grace.
I feel like that came on a lot stronger than I intended it to. It was supposed to be a joke.
It's like, I will shake you in the dark because you like L too much.
Yeah, alleged number 1 else fan.
Come to
Fight
JordanCon,
me,
Grace
little
will
punk.
shank you. That will happen. If you like
Who
it.
won?
Yes.
This character is from Roshar.
Ugh.
I mean, who's gonna do it?
I'm
I
gonna
almost
guess.
said Tanavast, and I was like, no.
I'm
that's
gonna
not true.
guess the wind.
Oh,
It is not the wind.
I don't know.
That's a good one.
I feel like if you've lived like 30, 40
No.
years as a mortal man and 10,000 years as, you know, a Rosharan, you are from Roshar. Like, that's...
I would never do, like, I know there are people who are like, if you weren't born in New York, you're not a New Yorker. I would never do that to somebody. Like, yeah, but whatever. But I'm like, you're not from Roshar if you started on Yolan. That's not true.
Sure. Yeah. Wouldn't it have been great if I guessed the wind and it was correct? Like, that'd be pretty
That
sick.
would have been phenomenal.
Right? With stick. I'm just gonna get it out of the way.
With stick?
Stick.
The stick.
Stick.
Oh, the stick. Okay. No, it is not the stick. I was like, who is the stick? I was like, Sack is
Sigzo.
not like
Sigzo.
remotely.
I'm gonna guess Liz, the Weeper. She's from Roshar.
Probably.
It is not Liz the Weeper.
Don't undercut me, Argent.
No, she's from Roshar. Well, I guess none of us are guessing the obvious thing, so I will guess L.
It is not L.
I thought L, but then I was like,
Good point.
Clue 2. This character is widely respected. It is not Navani.
Elodie.
It is not Elodie.
Damn it.
The
did we ever land on-
Stormfather.
It is not the Stormfather.
I'll take the Night Watcher.
It is not the Night Watcher.
I'll take the Night
I ask you
Watcher
a
for
question?
300. Alex?
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Is L and Elodie confirmed to be different characters? Did we finally get an answer on
No,
that?
we have
Yeah,
never gotten
Yeah,
an answer.
it's yeah.
Okay.
No.
Okay, cool.
I got
So we
it.
just-
I got it from I have it. It's yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, they are different characters.
They are
or no?
different characters, yes.
Okay, cool. I thought we'd ask that. Okay, cool.
Clue 3. This character is fiercely loyal.
Widely respected and fiercely loyal.
I was literally about
Kaladin.
to ask about an axe hound, and I'm like, that widely respected. Not at
I
all.
don't know any axe noun names anymore. Kaladin.
It is not Kaladin.
Adolin's
That's
horse.
It's Adolin's
it
horse.
is-
Sureblood
Yeah.
or the other one. He I feel like both of them are his horse now.
At this point,
Yeah,
yeah,
sure,
I think
they
so.
are.
Yeah.
We're just gonna go short.
Or Gallant.
It is not Sureblood.
Sureblood is his OG horse who dies, and then
Rest in peace, Sureblood.
yeah,
Never forget.
and then Dalinar is too busy being a bondsmith, and he passes
And that-
kind of,
And then dying. You have to
and
do
then
that later.
eventually dying. Yeah, widely respected, fiercely loyal.
Fiercely loyal.
Does Adolin have Sureblood with him in Azir? Or no?
No, he's dead.
Sureblood's dead.
Sorry,
Sureblood
Gallant.
died.
Whatever.
Who
cares?
Yes.
Okay, I was
Gallant-
going to say how sad would it be if one was an Earthero and Adolin was an Azir, and he's just like,
I just
No,
really want to
uh,
imagine that you thought Adolin brought Sureblood's corpse to
well, you know what? No, he would be soul cast into stone, Eric, and he's got the statue with him.
brought the giant
Obviously.
stone Rashadium to Azir.
They're going through
It's
they're going through the upgrade. They're like, do we need this?
Oh
No,
my
I mean we
God,
have
yes.
the whole thing in
We do.
Shadesmar where Gallant
Yeah.
like sky rides with the music
Yes.
spren, and that's where
Yeah,
we
Yeah,
like,
but then they go to the physical realm, and then he goes to Azir, and I don't recall him riding a horse at any point. So
Probably.
I was curious.
I think there's a couple of scenes. He doesn't ride, but like I think he like checks on the horses.
Okay, so it sounds like you don't know for sure. Anyway,
Okay, all right.
Who's fiercely loyal?
And widely respected.
who was the guy who? That's fine. Never mind.
That's such an interesting combination of clues, actually. And from
Tell it.
Shar.
I'm gonna start giving you guys ideas. What am I doing?
Is it? So it is widely respected?
Wow, they respected fiercely loyal Rasharan.
Yes.
How widely?
I mean, I
How
will say,
widely?
like,
Grace?
widely among people who know this character, I would say, like,
Okay.
I'll
So they-
say that. It's
My
like,
next
it's,
guess.
They
Can I-
don't
can I message you
literally
my
need to
next
be
guess?
world famous. Is what
It's-
you're
yeah,
saying?
no, I will give
Yeah.
you that much. Like, it is wide. It's like people who know this character respect them. Generally.
Grace is a much more gracious administrator of WTCC than
Last
Eric.
episode she wasn't.
No.
Let me tell
Can
you.
I message you my guess?
No, Grace is being
Didn't you already guess?
uncharacteristically
Didn't you already
generous,
guess this
actually.
round, Bonnie?
No, I'm
Yeah,
saying,
you
can I message you one because I have one.
She's doing the Ian thing.
Only
Yeah.
if it
It's not
counts.
gonna- I'm not
Only if
gonna
it counts
give
as
it
your
to
next
you.
guess.
Yeah, but
without-
then you
Yeah,
can
I'm not
confirm
gonna
if she
give
got
it
it
to
right.
you.
I
Next
just want to
time.
be able to say.
Okay, do it.
I mean,
Do
if
it.
you really
Ah.
want to, but it's not
We'll
gonna matter.
dispute it
Like,
regardless. Don't worry.
I'm gonna guess Heb.
it is not Heb.
Who the hell is Heb?
That's Kaladin's sergeant.
Hav. Hav.
Oh, is it Hav? Okay.
I think Heb
Well,
is
yeah.
from the Starfalls vision, and it's who Dalinar was, wasn't it?
You are correct, Eric. So you guessed a different character entirely.
Oh, that's right. He
Argent.
was the guy with the the guy that
Yeah,
I like
Dalinar's
how I'm, like,
taking our
instantly
spot
like,
for it.
no, I know exactly who
You
Heb
locked
is.
in. I was like, you are right. That is Heb. That is Heb. And you were right. That's a character.
Yeah, this doesn't
well-
make any sense. We're moving on. I'm gonna guess Harkalane. I know it's not Harkalane. but-
Harkalane.
It's
my
not
favorite.
Harkalane.
The Bondsmith.
It's not Harkalane.
Yeah, great,
The
cool.
Bondsmith.
Blue four.
Harkalane.
love Hark.
This
We love
character
Harkalane.
is an incredible warrior.
That's not
Wait,
helpful
was
at
Bonnie-
all
wait,
on Roshar.
As Bonnie's guess, did you message the guest, Bonnie?
I did message the guest.
Well, you can.
Let's
you
go-
can
let's do Bonnie's guess
actualize it
now.
What
is it?
Make the guest Cherry Cherry was my guess.
It is not cheery.
Not widely respected.
Among
Only by
among
Risen.
people who know.
I mean,
Who? Nickley and Risen?
yeah, like if two people know you and respect you, I would not say you are widely respected. Like that's. I think there's a threshold that you need to meet.
What was the new one, Grace? I forgot it already.
Incredible Warrior.
Incredible.
Okay.
Have we guessed Adolin?
No.
I'm gonna guess Adolin.
It is not Adolin.
I mean, we had to do it.
I'm gonna guess the character whose name I'm forgetting right now, who is the Defender of Earth Hero, who is like a real person who was canonized in the book. He did the march down to the pillar. He died brutally.
Yeah.
Did try to defend the pillar.
Yeah, that guy.
I'm forgetting his name. But
no, I know it.
Much respect.
Yeah, I know which one.
Yeah.
I'll look it up if we need me to give a name in case you're not remembering.
I truly do not remember who this character is, and I'll just say no.
Let me find. Okay, I'll get you the name. Don't worry.
He has art. I know that someone. I know that someone did art of him specifically.
I was like,
Yeah,
I
it was a
no
cool
memory of
character.
this happening.
Yeah, you're totally fine. No, it's relatively minor.
I'm still riding the high of a misguess of Heb, and I'm like, I know exactly
that was hilarious.
From.
I'm gonna guess Taln.
And it's not Taln.
It's fair.
Clue 5. This character does not like to retreat.
Huh. That should probably give it away, but I don't know.
Dalinar.
It's not Dalinar.
That'd be so annoying.
It's gonna be like some of Dalinar's.
I thought you were
going to
get this one, Argent.
Okay, the
Because
person
the
person I was thinking of, I think is named Teofil, which
honestly,
yeah.
it is Teofil. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is honestly, in my mind, an insane name because that is an Aeon.
It's true. It's true. I was just thinking that as you said that. It's like, wow, he's an Elantrian.
Teorn, Teoden. Yeah, we got a lot of Teos in the world. Who knows?
It's from Teod. God, is it one of Dalinar's elites? Like, who else is a good warrior?
Okay, here, let's hear it again real quick. Widely respected, good warrior, from Roshar.
Fiercely loyal.
Fiercely loyal. Does not like to retreat.
It's probably one of the generals. What about Brandon's dad? The guy who played Brandon's dad in the books. Wynn.
General Wynn.
General Wynn.
It is not Wynn. It is not General Wynn.
Damn it. Okay, well, I was gonna get it. I feel like Sigil's generals are a good candidate though, because those were people who were not they were trying not to retreat at the end. I don't know anybody else aside from Wynn, but I think they fit a lot of those characteristics. And when I read the book, maybe their names were all asterisks at that point.
It is possible the other two were General 1 and General 2.
True?
Is it? Oh shoot, where? The Herdazian general guy.
Oh,
what's
the
his
Mink?
face?
The Mink.
The Mink.
It is not the Mink.
Oh, that was
darn
so
it.
good.
Down
That
to
was
you,
so
Eric.
good.
That was a good name. What is his real name?
Dieno Dekala?
Dieno. Kala.
And Kala.
And
Yeah,
Kala.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. And Kala?
I gotta admit, I have no freaking clue who this character is, so I'm just gonna pass. I've like, it's not Kadash. It's not Kadash.
No,
it can't be Kadash.
He's not that loyal. He's not that loyal to
He's not that
Dalinar.
loyal. I truly, I have absolutely no idea, Grace.
Right. I thought you would get this because I know you would like this character, Argent. It is Damie the Stormwall.
Oh, okay.
Check your
The
DMs.
Stormmother.
Oh wait, did you
send
get it
that?
to me
I mean,
after your last guess?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
When
Okay.
you said
Okay.
when you said I should guess it, I'm like,
that
yes.
checks out. That checks
That's
out.
fine. I think, in my mind, the cognitive ideal of a WTC becomes very clear in the 5th round, and like that's where I think you nail
Cognitive
it.
ideal.
The spiritual ideal, maybe.
The spiritual integrity.
Anyway,
Spiritual integrity.
Copper shouldn't transmit emotions.
We love
whatever.
Demi.
We do love Demi for whatever he is.
Well, look, he was the second or third in line of succession for the
Yeah,
Theater Throne.
I mean, we love
Yeah,
Demi for sure.
And he allowed us to learn that tension is awakening cloth. And now we know that that's what that power is.
I mean, with Dalinar gone and Kaladin the Herald, is he king of Erythera?
No,
Or
because I
did it
think
go-
they
yeah.
abolished the monarchy. So like
Yeah,
even
no, it's
Renarin trying
democracy
to
now.
be like, even Renarin trying to be like, the leader or like the diplomat. I'm like, well, you're not really anybody anymore, buddy. Like,
So when I said I thought you would get this, Argent, you were like, oh, I know who it is now.
Yeah, no, it was instant.
All right, now we're going to do one from the Who's That Cosmic Character priority queue. And you can submit things to our Who's That Cosmic Character priority queue by being a herald on Patreon. Patreon.com/17shard, where there's outtakes and a bunch of other stuff. And for our heralds, you're at the end of the video and you can submit stuff here. And so this one is from Tagnomen. And I gotta be honest, I'm cutting an entire clue from this, so you only get 4 clues. So there you go.
no, come up with a fifth clue, Eric. I reject
No,
that.
I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. So
Message
I
to
think
me.
it should
I'll
be
come
fine.
with a fifth clue. I'll sit out.
I'll come up with some fifth clue. But
Okay.
I will explain to you why I'm saying this. I'm sorry, Tagnomen. That first clue is a little too much for me.
Just put it at the end.
No, but like it's deceptive. Like it's actively deceptive.
Uh-oh.
And I will explain. So that's
Eric,
Okay.
Eric doesn't believe in us. Long story short,
you will agree with me. I am absolutely certain of that. All right.
Okay.
Clue 1. This character was pierced by metal.
too broad. Let's talk about
Too
Adolin.
many.
Let's talk about Adolin. He's been stabbed many times.
True.
Adolin?
It's not Adolin.
Okay, thank you.
The soldier whose pewter Spook got in
Oh my lord.
Hero of Ages.
No.
Human
know if
the
that person was
Colossus. Because I know we've gotten human. This character is human as a first clue before, and so I'm metagaming this.
Grace.
Yeah, what's his real name?
Deceptive.
I said human the Colossus.
This is human the Colossus.
God bless
Oh,
Grace.
was it-
You're up for our-
People sense that. Like, I don't know when the last time I saw that, but people sense this character is human with
People,
the capital
people love Human the Colos. They really
People
do.
love Human the
Not
Colossus.
as much as we though. Like I think we meme on this character is human more than people actually sent.
I mean, I didn't say this
Vershad,
character
our
was
buddy
human.
Vershad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
this was a
Vershad.
totally different clue. Pierced
Yeah.
by metal.
Yeah.
What was a deceptive clue, Eric?
Okay, well, let's read the other ones. This character destroyed the mansion of a noble. This character was head of a thieving crew. This character has fought Coloss 1. This is all the lore from the annotation where we get Vershad info, obviously.
I would dispute head of a thieving crew even. He's like a rebel in the Burnlands, but that's a different thing.
No, he is. He's mentioned that he was the leader of a rebellion and he kept his band alive. I don't know. That's fine.
A rebellion is not the same thing as a thieving crew. He's the leader of a thieving. He's the leader of a rebellion in the Burnlands. He's not in a thieving crew. He's not in Elendel stealing shit from nobles.
Yeah.
He is out there stealing stuff from clubs.
We remember
on
the
the border.
specific Vershad annotation, and
I just know that as a fact. Like he's not a thieving crew guy.
The deceptive clue
Kelsier
is
does. Yeah.
Akandra has impersonated this character. And it's deceptive because the only thing that I can see that is true about that is that Akandra named Tabar played him in a post-Cassandra historical operetta, A Hero for All Ages. And so
that's hilarious.
Which is a deep cut.
Honestly,
I love that.
That's amazing.
Okay,
But, like,
That's hilarious.
It's pretty funny, but like it's
Okay,
like
so
it is
what's crazy
deceptive.
Like, I was guessing based off the idea of there being a deceptive clue, but went for the wrong deceptive clue and got it right anyway.
No, human wasn't there. Yeah, no.
No,
I was thinking
I
that
think-
like what it was that Akandra at some point portrays a human, and you're like, well, human. But like that's honestly even not that I've read a Hero for All Ages that broadsheet in a while, but that's pretty funny.
Well, there isn't much to it.
There's not much to it, but I still dispute your clue about being the leader of a thieving crew. Apologies. I think you're wrong.
Okay.
Do they have a Kolos playing a role openly in an Elendil?
Human the Kolos is a historical figure.
I know, but a Khandra play, like you're like, we've cast Milan as Kolos the human. Do they even know the Faceless Immortals exist in Elendil?
Mhm.
Yeah, they're well known.
No, they're not well known. They're mythological. They don't know. It's not like you're like, yeah, I know Tensoon in Milan. They think they're out there, but they're not. It's not like there's a Khandra who's Angelina Jolie or Brad Pitt.
It's even better, guys, because it's actually.
Is that from the Orny?
Yes, it is. It's from a Nikki
where
Savage
do I remember
story,
Tabar from?
where Nikki's like, yeah, you're incredible at imitation. I said encouragingly. Remember when you were human in the Kolos in a Hero for All Ages? You were masterful. You can do this.
There it
Amazing.
Is. Okay. I was like, it's not in the playbill advertising. They weren't like,
no,
yeah, we have a Faceless Immortal in our
not.
cast. There's no way they said that. So
it is not.
That makes more sense.
No,
that's hilarious.
I remember Tabar.
I don't.
Yeah,
I remember
was it like
though.
one half of the aluminum skeleton pterodactyl? Is that what it is?
I'm not reading this any further for more context because it does sound insane. How are there fossils? I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's fine.
There aren't, Brandon. Anyway.
Sazed.
How many made them?
Sazed's a deceptive god and is planting fossils to deceive people into thinking that the Earth is old.
That's honestly hilarious that Sazed is like...
I'm the god who did that.
No.
He's throwing off the young Scadrial creationists.
There was a religion that was about the discovery and interpretation of fossils in the past. So he was like, I gotta add them back in.
Do it. There it is.
Yeah, but even before, Scadrial was too young to have.
Maybe Ati was like, I'm putting some fossils on here because I think they're cool. You think about that?
Ati was an archaeologist.
Fossils are such a preservation thing. Why would Ati be the one to add them in?
I don't know. I picked one, Grace. I don't know.
Because he's the devil analog, Grace, obviously.
I did not think that was.
Fossils are all preservation.
Okay.
That's true.
That is a very fair point. But I don't know. I mean, okay, we don't need to get into fossilization and thinking about what's shards.
I have recently, but yeah, fair enough.
I'm just saying that fossilization can occur in very rapid destructive events.
It could, but it still takes a long time for it to complete the process.
Yes, that is true. That's true. Certainly true.
But anyway.
Wow, what a good and important talk that we had, guys. Even with us going so fast in that Who's That Cosmere character. But anyway, you can find us on 17shard.com for all the discussion, there's fun that you could want. Join our Discord, discord.gg/17shard. And you can support our Patreon at patreon.com/17shard. And I don't know, we might do something different from WoBs. We have a few more WoBs. There'll be this Mistborn anniversary stream thing that's non-spoilery. That already happened by the time you're listening to this, so I don't know if it's good, but it is crazy that Mistborn's been out for 20 years. That's crazy.
It is kind of crazy.
I don't like that at all, really.
I feel like we said the same thing when Elantris turned 20, so...
Yeah, and we will continue and we will say that in 2030 when Way of Kings is 20, and we will continue to do that until morale improves.
I feel like I'm recalling... like Elantris turning 10. I'm like, that was a long time ago. And I'm like, it couldn't have been that long ago, actually.
Last year, in fact.
Anyway. Oh my gosh.
Well,
anyway.
20, not 10.
Yeah, I was thinking of 10 when the Leatherbound came out.
Yeah.
So that was like 2015.
Yeah. I am a little sad that we didn't have 20th anniversary Leatherbounds and we just continue the cycle. That would have been stupid.
Well,
No,
but it would have been
oh
funny.
my god, no! I would have rejected another version of like. I would have been like, Brandon,
we
like
could
this
do
is,
like a-
this is too
we could
much
do-
money. This is
Yes,
too much money.
that
you're
is-
We can
asking
do
for.
like
I'm
a
sorry.
50th anniversary edition, and there'll be
Yeah,
like
yeah,
the
yeah.
young author who was like, "This book came out the same year I was born." Well, it wouldn't be really that young. At
We're
that
gonna
point,
we're gonna
but,
be
like,
burning our retirement on a 50th anniversary edition if any of us are still alive.
Yeah, the Mistborn metal bound edition.
30 years. I guess I hope I'll be alive I hope I'll be alive for the 50th anniversary. Actually, never mind.
Sorry, I just had the imagination that it's like Disney making a live action remake of an animated movie and then them making an animated movie of the live action remake. And it's very funny
Yes,
to me.
it'll be the live action Elantris, just like Moana. It's gonna be shot for shot remake.
Shot for shot. And then we'll make another
That's a sentence.
animated Moana to go with the Moana 3. Easy. And
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. Nailed it. Put your comments below what you think of the live action Moana movie. 'Cause
And what
I
you think
haven't
the
seen it
50th
and I won't.
anniversary of Elantris will be.
Yes. Anyway, bye.
Peace.
Bye.
After this many hours, it's just like, I don't know, we're just ending this. It's fine.
We're done.
We were so locked in, we had to go a little off the
Yeah.
rails at the end.
Caw.
were we that locked in though?